What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 3AK Chapter 56 Senju Tobirama, brothers working together can break goal. Advertisement. There was a lot of discussion in the village. The reputation of the Uchiha clan is not high, but fortunately they are now relieved of their responsibilities as Konoha police officers. From the inside out, coupled with the influence of Uchiha Kagami, everyone immediately felt that Danzo became annoying. This is the influence of personality. Of course, personality is not the key. The key is based on personality. You have to make enough contributions to Konoha to gradually turn your personality into prestige, and one person's words can influence the judgment of the villagers. How smart do you think the villagers can be? Or, they think what their superiors say is right. If the person above has enough positive influence, no matter whether he has evidence or not, then this matter must be true. But the top management of Konoha is different. Many people actually pay Danzo, such as Uchiha Kagami and Mangekyō Homura. In their opinion, Danzo did nothing harmful at all, he just wanted a little bit of power. As the second Hokage's apprentice, Kaharu and Homura also want to be Hokage consultants, but they are just not strong enough. In addition, the ambition is not that big, so it is just like this, but Danzo is a very paranoid person, and he can do such a thing. They can actually understand it. But anyway, there is nothing more to say, but Hiruzen is different. After hearing that Danzo became a rebel ninja, he had to bring someone to bring him back. But it was stopped by Senju Tobirama, and nothing happened after that, and Danzo has been completely missing. The beginning of Konoha 47. With the ninja world having been at peace for nearly 10 years. The major ninja villages couldn't sit still anymore and began to argue constantly. There are constant frictions between the major countries, and small-scale disputes occur from time to time. War seems to be coming again. And also in this year, the second-generation eyes are getting older and older, and their lifespan seems to be coming to an end. This year, Tobirama turns 70 years old, tonight. It seems the time has come to part ways. At second Hokage's house, more than a dozen people gathered at the moment. In addition to Sarutobi Hiruzen, Mangekyō Homura, and Uchiha Kagami, there are also Jiraiya, Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Uchiha Kagami. At this moment, Senju Tobirama is lying on the bed. On the old face, looking at the sad eyes around him, he finally fixed his gaze on Jing. You all please step aside. Third brother and I will have a few final words. Yes, Sensei, Hokage-sama, everyone left. Only the two brothers were left in this small space. Uchiha Kagami looked at his second brother who had aged beyond recognition, his face showing sadness that he thought he would not see. Second brother, you are so ugly like this. Haha, cough. When you get older, you might be uglier than me. Impossible, I'm so handsome, I can't be ugly, and I can't be old. If it doesn't work out, I'll ask Orochimaru to study facial retention techniques to keep my appearance in a youthful state, Jing said. Advertisement, good idea, but it's a pity that I can't see it. Senju Tobirama looked at him and said seriously. Mirror, in fact, sometimes I really doubt you, are you the mirror? Uchiha Kagami was stunned for a moment. Obviously, he didn't expect what the other person meant by his words. You have changed too much. Even if you say, Mangekyō caused memory loss, a person's behavior and habits will not change because of memory. Senju Tobirama said slowly. Your memory seems to have been recovered in the past 10 years, but many details cannot be ignored. I have thought about who you are. Is it a mirror? Or an outsider whose body has been taken over by someone, but now I feel who you are is no longer important. Don't be important anymore. Why isn't it important anymore? Jing asked. Because your heart is for Konoha, that's enough. Actually, second brother, I am always Uchiha Kagami, but I am just a transformed Uchiha Kagami. Konoha will not decline. And the ninja world will eventually achieve permanent peace in my hands. Do you believe it? I believe you can do it. Senju Tobirama looked at him and showed a long-lost smile. After 10 years, you may be as strong as my elder brother, and you are still young. I believe you can surpass my elder brother. I know you are still planning something else. Danzo's rebellion was also your intention. Uchiha Madara, you may also want to cooperate with him. Aren't you afraid, Madara, that you can't control it? Also, what have you been worried about? For 10 years, you always seem to be worried about something. I can see it. It doesn't seem to be because of Madara. Can you tell me? As expected of you, second brother, Uchiha Kagami couldn't help but sigh. Really worthy of the thoughtful Senju Tobirama. Not only can he see through his own thoughts, but he can also see what is in his heart. Plus the two brothers are very close to each other. Many things can be seen through with just one look. But seeing through without asking is also a kind of knowledge, and now that Senju Tobirama is dying, questions will arise. I won't hide it from you anymore, second brother. Uchiha Kagami took a deep breath and said, if I tell you that the crisis in the ninja world is coming, not even Uchiha Madara, not even Senju Tobirama, not even Sage of Six Paths are alive, can compete with each other. The opponent claims to be a heavenly being, and even the Sage of Six Paths are just descendants of their slaves. Such a powerful enemy, can I not worry about it? What? Are there such enemies? What are their names? The Otsutsuki clan. Otsutsuki? Senju Tobirama was skeptical at first. If it were anyone else, he would not believe the truth of this statement. You must know that Sage of Six Paths is the founder of the world. He is like a mythical figure. But you said that there is someone more awesome than Sage of Six Paths. Sage of Six Paths, just the descendants of the other group's slaves? Anyone else would think you were a fool, right? Even if his eldest brother Hashirama told him this, he would only think that his eldest brother might have a short circuit in his brain. It wasn't that he didn't believe it, but that Hashirama was not very serious most of the time. But if the mirror said it, then he is willing to believe it, because Jing is a serious person. Senju Tobirama thought of this and couldn't help but said bitterly, "Third brother, no wonder you told me that the old Madara lacked combat power, but you didn't plan to get rid of it soon. It turns out that you have already made preparations for the future. But if the other party is really so strong, I'm afraid your second brother can't help you. After all, even the eldest brother can defeat the enemy. What can I do? My strength is very average." "No, you can help me," Uchiha Kagami said sincerely. "Your strength is not important. What is important is that your strategy is unmatched. In terms of the degree of evil in the entire ninja world, no one can compare to you, second brother. I hope. If I really need you at that moment, second brother, I hope you can come and help me, and eldest brother Hashirama. The three of us brothers work together, I believe. There is no problem that cannot be solved." Senju Tobirama cheered up again. "Okay. I promise you, brothers working together can break gold. What kind of bullshit? The Otsutsuki clan dare to come to the ninja world and act recklessly? Put the blasters on the ground one after another. The ones who are not dead are all thrown to Orochimaru to be used as experimental subjects." Chapter 57. The war starts again, and I is ready to avenge his shame. Advertisement shit Otsutsuki? Put the blaster on the ground and use it as a test subject for Orochimaru? Good guy. Listen, that's a lot to say, Haki. To be honest, only Senju Tobirama dares to say this. After all, Tobirama's strength has never been his personal strength, but his fearless courage. Uchiha Kagami couldn't help but sigh. As expected of my second brother, Haki, even I dare not say that. Otsutsuki, if the eldest brother was still alive, the ninja world would have been unified under your promotion, right? Your elder brother is not living up to expectations. He has the strength but is unwilling to do this. Senju Tobirama said angrily. It seems fair to distribute the tailed beasts for the so-called peace, but after he died, the first ninja war broke out immediately in the ninja world, and a lot of things were thrown at me. Madara said back then that it wouldn't be a problem to dominate the ninja world with their strength. I couldn't help but agree, but my naive big brother rejected her. Eldest brother is useless. I still have to rely on you, third brother. No problem, leave it to me. Although I'm not sure about Otsutsuki at the moment, there's no big problem in destroying other ninja villages, Jingzi said. Ahem. Then I'll be relieved, but don't worry, I'm too tired these years. Let me rest down there for a few more days. If you are really short of manpower, just call you big brother. Senju Tobirama said, but I am very happy to be able to get together with my eldest brother, so I will leave first. Okay, second brother. Senju Tobirama coughed several times, but his face became rosy. This is obviously a throwback. After a while, his hand loosened his grip on the mirror. But the corners of his mouth were slightly raised with a smile, as if he was full of beautiful longing for the future. Tobirama passed away. It's temporary, but no one knows. Sarutobi Hiruzen and others cried bitterly and sent Senju Tobirama away. In the next few days, Jing put the second brother's body in place to ensure that no sixth brother would steal it in the future, and then he went back with peace of mind. The next day, the news of Senju Tobirama's death spread throughout the ninja world. The major ninja villages are ready to take action, and coupled with Danzo's previous rebellion, the major ninja villages believe that Konoha is experiencing civil strife. Then, Mangekyō took the lead in tearing up the alliance agreement. The advance troops were sent out first, and then Cloud Shinobi village and Iwagakure announced the start of the war. And this time Kirigakure was not idle either. He settled old and new grudges together and launched a war against Konoha. At this moment, the Third Ninja War has officially begun. But what is different from the original melee is that the last ninja war experienced the humiliation of Kage being captured, which led to the four major ninja villages besieging Konoha this time. Although the major ninja villages dislike each other, there may still be a little friction, but this time the fingertips are collectively pointed at Konoha. Konoha faced siege from all sides and showed no signs of fatigue. Logically speaking, Konoha even had a large number of ninjas in the advance force. It is definitely not as good as the four major ninja villages combined. But this is during Orochimaru's reign. Advertisement. This wasn't the era of the strongest Hokage, it was a few years ago. The advance force of the Impure World reincarnation that Jing had proposed before was brought forward, but this time it was directly put into use, completely disrupting the opponent's rhythm. And Namikaze Minato, also this time, he took the lead in joining the battle. He quickly became famous in the ninja world with his proud flying thunder god technique, and called it Yellow Flash. Coupled with the identity of Kagami's direct disciple and the intimidation of his personal strength, the ninja world is very afraid. Even, orders were also issued from above. If you encounter Yellow Flash, run away directly without any guilt. But the first round of confrontation has just begun, and it will definitely not work if the morale is so weak. The major ninja villages are a little unable to hold on. What the hell is this Impure World reincarnation? Why do the ninjas of Konoha immune to death? It doesn't hurt at all when kunai stings the opponent, and ordinary ninjutsu is useless. What does immune to death mean? These Impure World reincarnation ninjas, why do their chakras last so long? Why can they still use their ninjutsu? There is also a Yellow Flash, which is comparable to the Red Flash of the past. It's so fast, my eyes are going to go blind. Ah, I can't beat him. I can't beat him at all. Yellow Flash is indeed the disciple. He is simply better than his master. Quick. Report to the senior management. Konoha does not respect martial ethics. Almost at the same time, all major ninja villages got the news. Especially the Cloud Shinobi village. Third Raikage was so angry after being captured that he immediately slapped the table angrily and went into a rage. D Konoha. They are simply scoundrels. They dare to desecrate the souls of the dead. They will be punished sooner or later. Tudai frowned and said, let's not talk about retribution for now. We have to turn the tide of the war. Those Impure World reincarnation troops need to use sealing techniques, but there are too few villages that can be sealed. Then what do you think we should do? Third Raikage asked. We can only send elites to target Arrancar. We need to be the first to defeat the enemy's pace. We must not let Konoha lead us by the nose. Tudai thought for a while and said, especially for the opponent's Yellow Flash, we must send out strong enough ninjas. I think. Why not let Ihabi take action? Okay, leave it to them. Third Raikage is no nonsense either. As the son of Fourth Raikage, he has inherited Ai's name. Bai also became Eight Tails Jinchuriki a few years ago, and the two formed an AB combination. With the cooperation of the two, they may not be unable to win Namikaze Minato. The two immediately rushed to the battlefield, not long after. I met a young man with yellow hair, wearing a Jonin vest, his handsome face is full of sunshine. Minato raised his eyebrows slightly. People from Cloud Shinobi village? Are you unable to sit still so quickly? The Cloud Shinobi ninja behind him said in fear. This hair color is right. We encountered Yellow Flash, Lord Ai. If we are defeated, there is no harm in us retreating. But Ai didn't answer and stared at the other party. Are you the ninja who stopped Nine Tails from seizing the mission? You are the son of Cloud Shinobi village Third Raikage, Ai, right? I heard that you were very fast in taking action, Minato said. It was me, your teacher and the second Hokage who teamed up to defeat my father. Ai pointed at the opponent with one hand and said arrogantly, this time my brother and I will defeat you, avenging our shame. Chapter 58 Eight Tails Jinchuriki, Minato's top combat consciousness. Advertisement, HMPH. As long as Big Brother and I take action together, there will definitely be no problem. B******** D guy, stupid guy. Killer B was also rapping nearby. Seeing the Cloud Shinobi village AB combination in front of them, Akamichi Danto and Inuzuka Uru showed worry on their faces. Minato, the opponent is the son of Third Raikage. He should be very powerful. How should we deal with him? Don't worry, don't move, I will deal with them alone. Minato looked calm and reached for the bag behind him. He raised his hand and threw out a large piece of special kunai. The handle of each kunai was engraved with the Flying Thunder God technique of Sword of Ninja Love. Arrogant guy, take a punch from me. Fourth Raikage was furious. The moment chakra is mobilized, the lightning style code wraps it up. He approached Minato at an extremely fast speed, clenched his right fist and slammed it into the opponent's face without any mercy. Minato raised his hand and threw the kunai. With a swish sound, he jumped to a tree and avoided Ai's attack. This guy actually avoided my extreme speed attack. His speed is actually faster than mine. Is this the Flying Thunder God technique? Ai's pupils tightened, feeling surprised and suspicious in his heart. But before I could react, in a flash of golden light, Minato jumped again with the thrown kunai. He completed the dodge and counterattack in an instant. While holding the kunai tightly, he stabbed the opponent's back vest fiercely. What is unexpected is, suddenly, a sting, a huge octopus attacks with tentacles. Blocking Ai's back, Minato's face showed surprise when his kunai pierced the octopus's tentacles. And Ai also took this opportunity to return to Killer B. I'm sorry, Bai, are you okay? You are not yet proficient in Tailed Beast transformation, so be careful. Killer B said, don't worry, brother, we are the strongest partners. And seeing this scene of the Tailed Beast transforming, teammates Akamichi, Danto and Inuzuka looked nervous. Isn't that right? Could it be that this guy is Eight Tails Jinchuriki? And at this time, the signal to retreat came from behind. The two teammates promptly signaled Minato to retreat temporarily. That's a big mistake. I am Eight Tails. Eight Tails is me, Killer B, my uncle. Oh yeah, Killer B raised his finger. Minato looked at him with admiration and said, you are an amazing warrior. Eight Tails Jinchuriki aside, from a ninja perspective, you seem to have something very strong in your heart. Iaojao said, HMPH, my brother's talents are above mine. It won't be difficult to surpass him in the future. No, I don't mean talent. Minato shook his head and said, it's something more important than talent. You have a good partner and brother, and I happen to be the same. Anyway, the next time we meet, it should be the time to duel in the name of Shadow. For your brother, what is the most important thing? You must help him find out as soon as possible, otherwise he will find it difficult to get along with himself, both as a Jinchuriki and as a human being, and thus lose himself. These words are spoken from the bottom of my heart. Becoming a perfect Jinchuriki is not that simple. Especially because the teacher told him some reasons. Eight Tails Jinchuriki went berserk several times. The previous generation Eight Tails Jinchuriki Barubi went berserk and lost many elites. But the reason why he went berserk, in fact, by becoming a Jinchuriki, the perspectives of people around you will change. Advertisement Barubi's friends also wanted to treat him as before, but they couldn't do it because of Jinchuriki, and then they walked step by step toward darkness, fear, and loneliness. Day after day, I am immersed in this emotion. Anyone would be lost, and the tailed beast's rampage took advantage of Jinchuriki's inner fragility, thus triggering the rampage. As for becoming friends with a tailed beast, at this stage, tailed beasts are an ominous symbol for the ninja world. While they are afraid of the power of the tailed beasts, and at the same time need to control the tailed beasts more strictly, how could they possibly think of becoming friends with the tailed beasts? Even if I think about it, the tailed beast lived for countless years and was used as a Jinchuriki by people in the shinobi world. This is actually no less than imprisonment and torture. For them, this is indelible hatred. Do you Jinchuriki want to be friends with them? Want to be friends after just a few words? It's not that easy. In other words, the main character Naruto, who has a lot of mouth escape power, cannot be perfectly controlled by anyone who becomes 9 tails Jinchuriki. Kushina's adamantine sealing chains are so powerful, but they are not afraid of the power of 9 tails. 8 tails is actually in a similar situation. Now he has just become 8 tails Jinchuriki, and he needs to find something that can really fit with 8 tails. So as to get on the right track, I knew what the other party said was right, but he would not let the enemy lead him. So I pointed at him and said in a hostile tone, "Namikaze Minato, do you think you can escape by just talking nonsense? I won't let you go. In order to impress my father, and to wash away the shame of your teacher defeating my father, I must defeat you today." His expression was slightly condensed, and his eyes quickly scanned the whole place. Memorizing the locations of all the flying thunder god kunai, I quickly had a strategy in my mind to deal with Minato. The opponent uses flying thunder god to teleport and can only move to a place with kunai. And now I have memorized the positions of all the kunai. I just need to predict which kunai he will appear on next, and then attack as quickly as possible. Let's jump. Which kunai will you jump to? I fully activated lightning style's armor. Arcs cover the body surface, approaching the opponent as quickly as possible. Then, he punched the opponent in the head, but Namikaze Minato looked calm and held the index and middle fingers of one hand together. With a swish sound, he quietly arrived behind 8 tails Jinchuriki with a quick teleportation, and the kunai landed on the opponent's head. Minato looked calm. I also carry a lot of things. I can't let the teacher down like last time, so I absolutely can't fail. The Cloud Shinobi ninjas behind him were stunned. Damn it. When did the other party appear? Why did it appear suddenly? Wait, 8 tails actually has the flying thunder god spell on its tentacles? Ai's face also became ugly. Was it the time when you saved me just now? There was a flaw left. Damn flying thunder god, he was really fast. The key is, the opponent's fighting consciousness is simply unbelievable. If the Minato in front of him is so strong, then how strong will his teacher Uchiha Kagami be? However, Killer Bee isn't a bad guy either. The blade behind him had already been pressed against Yellow Flash's waist, and the two of them were fighting each other. Minato showed a faint smile. Although you are an enemy, I admire you very much. When you move your hands, you are like a ninja killer. No wonder you are called Killer Bee. When fighting, you should be conscious and swing to hurt each other. Killer Bee wore sunglasses and said coldly, "Hurry up and stab everyone together. The white knife goes in and the red knife comes out, oh yeah." Advertisement Chapter 59 A Fateful Showdown. Hell's Thrust 4 Pen Hands. Advertisement, okay, then I have to do this. Namikaze Minato looked calm. This is war after all, and there is no possibility of mercy. And the current Minato is different from the former Minato. He has been educated by the mirror and is no longer such a simple child. At least, when facing the enemy, you don't think too much. If 8 tails Jinchuriki can be killed and Cloud Shinobi village suffers huge losses in the war, Konoha will win the war faster. So, he stabbed it down suddenly. However, the next second, lightning flashed. I saw someone rushing over at extremely fast speeds. Minato looked surprised, and once again evaded the attack with a flash, and looked up at the opponent's figure. This person has bronze skin all over his body. He looks quite young, with slender hair and a gray beard. The word, thunder, is tattooed on his shoulder, and his whole body exudes an invincible aura. Third Raikage. Minato was slightly surprised, with a look of vigilance on his face. The war has just begun. Are you already going to join the war? This is a bit against the rules. Young man, the rule is that the dead are alive. Third Raikage pouted. Besides, Second Hokage and Uchiha Kagami teamed up to defeat me and forced me, Third Tsuchikage, to become a prisoner in your Konoha village. This was an insult to my character. No matter what, I have to find my way back. Besides, it's a war now. Young people, don't blame us for bullying the minority. No, but Mr. Raikage, please be careful. If my teacher could defeat you, then maybe I can do it too. Minato smiled. Young boy, what do you know? If Second Hokage and your teacher hadn't learned martial ethics and suddenly attacked me, I couldn't even release the lightning style armor. Otherwise, how could I have been defeated by them? Today I will let you see how powerful the strongest shield and the strongest spear are. Third Raikage was furious. Chakra surged from his body and turned into lightning. Zitsa, 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 arcs of electricity spurred out around the body. It's so fast that even Minato has to be prepared, using the flying thunder god technique to quickly jump to dodge the opponent's powerful attacks. And I, the son of Third Raikage, after all, he is still young and far from his peak, so he is far inferior to his father in terms of speed, strength, and defense. But when he joins forces with Killer Bee, their combat effectiveness cannot be underestimated. With superb combat awareness, Minato kept jumping back and forth among the three people, trying to find opportunities to counterattack. Soon, he instantly jumped behind the enemy. The chakra in his hand quickly condensed and turned into a blue sphere. Rasengan. You're the one I've been waiting for, boy, Black Thunder Binding. Third Raikage's mouth was ferocious. Ignoring Rasengan's attack, a large amount of black lightning erupted from his body. Thunder and lightning quickly covered Minato's body, paralyzing him, and he seemed to be frozen. And Rasengan's attack, it actually landed on the opponent's body and had no effect at all. Minato's pupils tightened, and he was shocked. Is this the strongest shield? He is indeed the strongest Raikage in history. No wonder. The former teacher also had to defeat him before he activated the lightning-style armor. Right now, even if I use my Spiral Flash Chow Dancing Roar 3 styles, I'm afraid I won't be able to do anything to the opponent. Advertisement, young man, have you seen how powerful I am? But it's a pity that my strongest spear is the strongest. It's time to end. Hell Thrust Sibin Gunshu, Third Raikage's fierce eyes. Revealing an invincible aura, he put the four fingers of his right hand together and pierced Minato's head. Seeing the crisis coming, suddenly, Minato quietly disappeared. He didn't disappear on his own initiative, but was taken away by someone using the Flying Thunder God. At this moment, there is a man beside Minato. He had short black hair and a mocking look on his handsome face. Third Raikage, are you bullying my apprentice like this? When I brought you back to Konoha as a guest, are you not afraid of doing it again today? Arrogant Uchiha. You and second generation were just trying to get along. Third Raikage angrily retorted. As long as I release my strongest lightning-style armor, it is impossible to break my defense with your attacks. You can't beat me this time. Not only that, I will defeat you openly and openly. I will capture you all to avenge the humiliation. Okay, let's go one-on-one. If I win, then please invite Mr. Raikage and Killer Bee to visit us again in Konoha. We will warmly entertain you, Jing said very politely. No problem, Third Raikage was about to agree. But his son Ai was very puzzled next to him. Father, Namikaze Minato has suffered your Black Thunder and cannot regain his fighting strength. The three of us can join forces to besiege Uchiha Kagami and easily win the victory for the village. Why did one-on-one? You know nothing, my dignity won't allow me to do this. Get out of here. Yes, Father, Raikage-sama, I and Killer Bee looked at each other. I couldn't help but feel helpless, but I couldn't argue with anything. He could only leave the place obediently and observe this fateful showdown not far away. Uchiha Kagami showed a hint of appreciation. As expected of you, Third Raikage. Your pride does not allow you to do this. It was me and my second brother who took advantage of you in the first place. It's true that we won with no force, but this time in an upright battle, I will make you convinced that you lost. Then come on, I can't wait any longer, Third Raikage shouted. After learning the previous lesson, he immediately inspired the lightning-style armor. With his whole body covered by lightning, his hair stood up like a hedgehog, and his hair was as hard as steel needles. Third Raikage as an instant, he approached the opponent's body and put his four fingers together. He went straight to the opponent's head with the Hell Thrust, but just when he thought Mirror was about to dodge with the Flying Thunder God. Suddenly, Mirror also raised his right hand and put his four fingers together. Using the same move, he stabbed towards the opponent's hand. Hell Thrust 4 pen hands. Third Raikage was stunned for a moment. But soon a mocking expression appeared on his face. Uchiha Kagami, you are seeking death. You gave up your proud Flying Thunder God, but want to humiliate me with your poor imitation skills? No matter how much you imitate, without the blessing of the lightning-style armor, your hands and body will be easily penetrated by me. This time, I have defeated you. Chapter 60 Defeat Raikage again, a terrifying possibility. Advertisement The Third Raikage pierced through without mercy. But what is unexpected is, the enemy was not impaled. I saw that the opponent's hand was covered with a purple lightning-style chakra, which directly collided with his hand. Bang! The two of them fell back again, and Third Raikage groaned. Uchiha Kagami did the same, taking a few steps back and looking at each other a few meters apart. At this moment, only discovered by Third Raikage. Not only the opponent's hands, but also his entire body were covered in lightning-style armor. It's just that the color of his lightning-style coat is purple, and it seems to be full of the same characteristics as Black Lightning, but it seems to be equally strong in defense. Seeing this scene, Third Raikage was really shocked. Lightning-style armor. You actually learned it? How is that possible? This is the secret of my Cloud Shinobi village. How can you learn it by yourself without a teacher? Is it difficult? You can learn it by just learning. What is your move called? Why is it purple? It's also lightning-style armor, but I added the same paralysis characteristics as your Black Thunder. It seems that the color is different because of the different chakra. The name is Purple Lightning Chakra Mode. Uchiha Kagami looked calm. It's not like he's done nothing over the years. Lightning-style chakra mode is actually an almost very rare way of increasing the individual's strength. The 8 inner gates stimulate the potential of the human body, but in fact the physical body itself does not increase much. And in the world of Hokage, where attack is high and defense is weak. Stop talking about you 8 tails Jinchuriki. Even Uchiha Izuna can still be killed by Senju Tobirama's Flying Thunder God Slash without using Susanna. But having lightning-style armor is different. Lightning-style chakra mode continuously stimulates human cell activity, thereby enhancing the physical defense. In the original work, the third Raikage has an existence that can compete with 8 tails. Even Jin Ming's spiral shuriken is difficult to cause much damage, and the ninja coalition cannot break through the opponent's defense at all. In the end, in desperation, Naruto came to his senses. Using skill, Rasengan, the senjutsu, allowed third Raikage to defeat the shield with his own spear, and thus won the victory. And the most important thing is, through cell activation exercise, chakra can be increased the day after tomorrow. For example, the fourth Raikage and the third Raikage typically use the lightning style to stimulate physical activity, thereby cultivating a chakra comparable to a tailed beast. Although the fourth Raikage is a bit lacking in defense. But in order to surpass Minato, the speed in the later stage is absolutely outstanding, and the strength is actually not weak. At least it is much stronger than other crispy ninjas. Attacks such as Kunai and Chidori cannot be effective, so the mirror will not let go. And with the title, Master of Forbidden Technique. In the past few years, he has developed his own lightning-style chakra mode by combining it with the purple lightning, developed later by Kakashi. And his chakra amount is already comparable to Hashirama. The battery life will only be longer than theirs, and the speed of the Thunder Armor plus the Flying Thunder God technique can already crush the opponent in terms of speed. Uchiha Kagami. Although third Raikage was very angry, he had to admire him. To be honest, you are the most talented ninja I have ever seen. Even the second generation can't compare to you. No wonder. You said you were convinced that I lost, but your development of the lightning-style armor also proves that you were indeed as rumored. Did you use too much and the load was too high, so that Mangekyō can no longer be used? Actually, I'm pretending. Jing said sincerely. Ha ha ha. You really can't lie. This is enough to prove your guilty conscience. If Sharingan can be used, then I still have a chance to win. The strongest lightning-style armor, third Raikage no longer hides his clumsiness. The lightning-style armor activates its strongest mode. The same is true for Uchiha Kagami, while the cells are activated. His black hair began to grow rapidly, his whole body was covered in purple lightning-style armor, and his dark eyes showed his invincibility. Advertisement. Hell thrust Ibn-sen hand. The third Raikage roared wildly. He directly used his strongest trump card and stabbed directly with a finger. However, Uchiha Kagami raised his right hand. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised, and the index finger of his right hand was covered with a layer of metallic color. The lightning-style armor sizzled on it, and it also hit it with a consistent hand. Clang. Click. There was a sound of metal clashing. There was a crisp sound, and third Raikage's finger was broken. The remaining powerful power penetrated directly through his body. Although it did not damage any fatal vital points, third Raikage was instantly severely injured. Peeved. How is that possible? Third Raikage vomited blood, gritted his teeth and said unwillingly. Even if you have only learned the lightning-style armor for a long time, how can you defeat me with the same move? What did you do? Just now. What was the black on that finger? It's steel release. Uchiha Kagami explained. The combination of lightning-style and earth-style attributes can harden the body into steel again, making it invulnerable and indestructible. With the blessing of lightning-style, my power naturally exceeds yours. The limit of blood inheritance? You actually, ahem. Third Raikage looked horrified. The whole person is a little doubtful about life. It doesn't matter if the opponent develops his own lightning-style chakra mode. You can actually integrate the chakra attribute to understand the blood inheritance limit at will. What kind of damn pervert talent is this? Third Raikage looked sad and reminded sincerely. I, third Raikage, actually lost in my own field. Uchiha Kagami. You are stronger than I thought. I am convinced of my defeat. But you must be careful. Onoki seems to have made great progress in order to target you. Don't worry, I won't lose. Uchiha Kagami smiled half-heartedly. With his current strength, hiding Mangekyō is actually not just for show. Especially in front of these shadows, he mainly wanted to spread the news and wait for Madara to take the initiative. And these years, in addition to learning Hashirama's wood style, he spent a lot of time developing new ninjutsu, and with the blessing of the two characteristics of Master of Forbidden Technique and Ninja Professor, he has more than just these two trump cards. If Onoki really dares to come, then let him try what it means to doubt life. The blow you just made penetrated my left lung. The blood flowed so fast that I was about to die. Third Raikage looked depressed and said in a pleading tone, Let my son and Killer Bee go. I am willing to use my life and dignity to beg you to let them go. They are the future of Cloud Shinobi village. Lord Raikage, I didn't tell you to die. Uchiha Kagami showed a smile. Since you just said that you would go to Konoha as guests, you must keep your word. I will not kill anyone at any time. After all, I am a kind person. But, there is no medical ninjutsu. Third Raikage looked difficult. I didn't say I couldn't do it. Jing blinked. A faint green light appeared in his hands. This was the healing jutsu that was harvested from Tsunade, and it quickly stopped the third Raikage's injuries. Healing jutsu is a very powerful advanced healing ninjutsu. Regardless of internal or external injuries, or penetrating injuries, as long as you are not half-stepped into the gate of hell, you can basically be revived. Seeing the injury gradually recovering, the way third Raikage looked at the mirror changed. The reckless man's mind seemed to be spinning, and he thought of a shocking possibility. You can even know Konoha Sanin's healing jutsu, and you can't do it. Wait. You shouldn't have mastered Onoki's dust release in addition to my lightning-style chakra mode, right? Chapter 61 Yahiko. Correction, our Akatsuki is a righteous organization. Advertisement, how can it be? Uchiha Kagami said seriously. Dust release is a blood inheritance elimination that exceeds the limits of blood inheritance. It requires the integration of the 3 chakra nature transformations of wind, fire, and earth to learn. The learning difficulty is very high. If it is so easy to learn, then why in the entire ninja world, only Onoki and his teacher who has passed away many years ago can do it? Besides, human energy is limited. Ninjas with poor talent will never be able to learn a single advanced ninjutsu in their lifetime, let alone the blood succession limit and blood succession elimination. It took me a lot of effort to learn steel release. How can I have time to learn it? Yes, bar. Well, you have a point. Third Raikage was stunned. I feel like what the other person said makes sense. After all, no matter how talented a person is, it still takes time to learn slowly. Even if Uchiha Kagami is a genius, he can't learn it just by looking at it. Thinking about this made him feel a little better. As expected of a reckless man, he is so easy to fool. I saw that the other party believed it. Uchiha Kagami smiled quietly in her heart. But without revealing anything, he planned to take them back to Konoha. However, the third Raikage looked confused. Uchiha Kagami, can you just take me with you? My son and Killer Bee are extremely important to Cloud Shinobi village, if you take them all back. A village that has lost 8 tails Jinchuriki will go crazy at all costs. You also know, there are not many people in our village who have brains. Maybe you Konoha are not afraid of challenges, but you are also afraid of crazy people, right? Well, then I'll listen to you. Uchiha Kagami thought for a while. It seems that he agrees with the other party's view. Ignoring the 2 young men behind him, he was about to take away the third Raikage. Konoha ninjas, stay with me, father. I will never allow you to be taken away by them. I was furious. The lightning-style armor on his body was fully released, and his figure suddenly rushed forward. Swish, however, there was no time to get close to the other party. The cold touch of kunai was felt on his neck, and at some point, Uchiha Kagami appeared behind him. The 3-pronged kunai in his hand was just lying across his neck. Haha. So fast, Ai's pupils tightened and his expression was horrified. This man's flying thunder god is much faster than the yellow flash one. With my ultimate speed, I didn't notice the opponent's movement trajectory at all. But he couldn't sit back and watch his father being captured alive. It was obviously to wash away the shame last time, but now instead of doing it, it caused the father to be humiliated again. How could he accept this violent temper? Uchiha Kagami said calmly, your father is just visiting Konoha. If you don't want to suffer, just stay still. To be honest, Lord Third Raikage's anger is only superficial, he is a wise elder. Being willing to sacrifice yourself to protect more valuable young people reminds me of my eldest brother. He did the same thing, but you are different. You are angry and irritable both inside and outside. You are not strong enough, so you can only be incompetent and furious. Why humiliate us so much? I said angrily. Is it humiliating? Haha. I'm doing this for your own good. If it weren't for the future, your father would have died several times long ago. Do you really think Uchiha Kagami, I'm so generous? Nonsense, I can't understand it. If you don't understand, try to become stronger instead of complaining here. Uchiha Kagami said disdainfully. Your father has the title of the strongest contradiction, and his body and strength are the best in the ninja world. What about you? Want to find a new way in speed? No matter how fast you are, can you be faster than the flying thunder god? Advertisement. No matter how fast you are, if you don't have enough strength and defense, you are still a weakling. Don't think that your father's path is wrong. At least until you become famous. You are not qualified to deny your father's achievements. Me, the next time we fight, I hope that the name of Fourth Raikage will not be dishonored. I will never live up to the name of Fourth Raikage. I will defeat you with my own hands and avenge my father. Uchiha Kagami ignored him. He took the third Raikage and left with Minato. Looking at the enemy in front of him, Ai's eyes were filled with boundless anger. His father was defeated by Uchiha Kagami again and became a prisoner of Konoha again, but he still couldn't wash away his shame. Why? Why again and again? Why am I so weak? Why? Is it wrong for me to pursue ultimate speed? Is it right to become stronger in all aspects of attack, defense, and speed? I couldn't help but feel bitter in his heart. Who doesn't want to become stronger in all aspects, but it's not that easy? His father studied the lightning-style chakra mode, constantly tempering his body with lightning strikes, and it took him so many years to make a name for himself. But he is still no match for Uchiha Kagami. Now that he was defeated in the field he was good at, how could this not make him feel powerless? So he also wanted to find another way and focus all his energy on speed. But now, the road seems to be on the wrong path again. Ai's mood was extremely tangled and complicated. The anger of his father being taken away made him feel extremely irritable, and he could not calm down and think about the way forward. Brother, don't be depressed, don't be sad. Killer Bee comforted him. You need to be calm in the melancholy days. Believe it, happy days will come. You and I, brothers, work together to defeat all idiots. Oh yeah, baby. It's so ugly. I won't give up. Yes, I am Bai. We are the strongest partners. We are not afraid of all difficulties. The two looked at each other. They clashed their fists together and cheered up again. But, suddenly, a low and strong voice came from the bushes behind him. Do you want to bring back the third Raikage? I can help you do that. Who? I and Killer Bee looked nervous. Turning around and looking over, I found 3 people in front of me. Standing on the left is a tall beauty with lavender hair and a paper flower on her head. A pair of orange eyes, looking deserted. The one on the left has long red hair hanging down, covering his eyes so that his eyes cannot be seen clearly, but his temperament is very low. And the one in the middle, it's the person who just spoke, with orange hair. All three of them wore black god-like robes with red clouds tattooed on them, and wore Rain Shinobi Village forehead protectors. People from Rain Shinobi Village. I and Killer B warned. No, Hongyan Black Robe. What kind of evil organization are you from Rain Shinobi Village? What is your purpose? Yahiko stood up and spread his hands, and said righteously. No, correct me, we are not an evil organization, we are an ace mercenary organization under Rain Shinobi Village, responsible for quelling wars and disputes in the ninja world. You can call us Akatsuki. Chapter 62 The Strongest Body. Waiting for Cloud Shinobi Village to send money. Advertisement, Akatsuki organization. I and Killer B are not too leisurely. It's not that he doesn't believe in the identity of the other party, Rain Shinobi Village, but that he doesn't believe in the so-called quelling the wars and disputes in the ninja world. Isn't this a complete joke? Shao Ninja Village still wants to quell the war and disputes? Besides, you are still just 3 people. Killer B and I felt for the first time that they had met a liar. You don't believe it, it doesn't matter. You will believe it soon. Come on, Nagato, show them. Yahiko clapped his hands. Nagato was slightly embarrassed, but still stood up. The amazing chakra on his body surged, creating an amazing wind and wave, and Uzumaki-like eyes were revealed with the wind and waves. Seeing this scene, I and Killer B were immediately shocked. What an amazing chakra. No, Shikara is not the point. Brother, look at his eyes, are they the legendary eyes of the immortal? That's right, it's the immortal eye. I stared at the other party, changing from contempt to seriousness. Rain Shinobi Village, there is such an organization? There is even the existence of the eye of the immortal? Are you really trying to quell the war in the ninja world? Otherwise, Akatsuki, who has the eyes of an immortal, is naturally the savior of this world and the god of this world. Yahiko's expression became more and more solemn. Uchiha Kagami ignored the peace of the shinobi world and took away the third Raikage privately. This will make the conflict between Cloud Shinobi Village and Konoha more intense. We Akatsuki will never allow this to happen. So, you really want to save my father? That's right. Thank you so much. Wait a minute, brother, he hasn't finished speaking yet. Yahiko said righteously. As a savior organization, our Akatsuki organization has taken great risks in order to maintain peace in the shinobi world. If the organization has a mental breakdown, injury, or death, it will also require medical expenses, mental loss expenses, pensions, etc. So it's normal to charge a little bit for hiring peacekeepers, right? I said thoughtfully. It's normal. How much do you want? Not much, only 200 million taels. 200 million? This is too much. Can it be cheaper? Iway said. Do you mean that the majestic third Raikage, known as the strongest spear and strongest shield in the ninja world, and known as the strongest in history, is not worth 200 million? Yahiko half smiled. How is it possible? My father is priceless, just 200 million. I couldn't help but lose his temper, but their village also has money. But it was still not that much, and most of the expenses for the war were allocated by the Daiming Mansion. But this kind of peacekeeping cost, is it considered to be caused by war? After all, there is no precedent. What if Daiming Mansion doesn't allocate funds? If Cloud Shinobi Village paid for it himself, 200 million would actually be a big price, which left him in a bit of a dilemma. It seems that the other party is hesitating. Yahiko rolled his eyes slightly and came up with a countermeasure. Actually, you can sign an employment agreement with us first, then settle the settlement after we complete the employment task, and pay within the next 7 days. How about that? That's great, thank you. You're welcome. When you originally hired us, Shao, you had to pay a 50% deposit in advance, but for the sake of the first order, I'll give you this benefit. Thank you. By the way, aren't you worried that we will default on our debt? I looked suspicious, however, as soon as these words came out. Advertisement. The cold beauty on the left spoke for the first time, emphasizing in an extremely cold tone. No one dares to rely on our Akatsuki organization. Remember. No one, I hope you too, can recognize this. Okay, we will never default on our debt. I, the son of Third Raikage. In fact, they are all the same, and they all say the same thing. I just asked casually, there is no possibility of defaulting on the bill. If it were replaced by an old silver coin like Onoki, there would really be no guarantee that it would be a bad debt. But fortunately, this is just the first order. After that, you will definitely need to pay the employment deposit in advance, otherwise you will have to withdraw the money from the boss if you were hired for nothing. Ever since, the two parties signed the employment agreement hastily. Nagato chased Uchiha Kagami and Third Raikage alone, leaving Yahiko, Konan, I, and Killer B looking at each other. But because they are not familiar with each other. Plus it was other ninja villages, so they were on guard. This makes it impossible for everyone to get together and chat, so the atmosphere is slightly awkward. But when he thought of the confrontation between Immortal Eyes and Uchiha Kagami, I couldn't help but wonder. Aren't you worried that you will lose? That Uchiha Kagami is so famous that he has never lost a single battle, so I'm worried that something will go wrong. No, don't worry, our Shao organization is professional. What if it fails? There is no such thing as a contingency. That's good. Thank you, your organization is pretty good. Hear this with appreciation. Yahiko and Conan looked at each other. He knew it tacitly, but the smile on his lips could no longer be hidden. Knew it, the teacher is right, these fools in Cloud Shinobi village are really easy to deceive. The other side, Minato and Kagami are jumping through the trees. But neither of them used Flying Thunder God to jump. Minato was a little confused and asked in a low voice. Teacher, why don't you go back to Flying Thunder God? It's too slow. Don't worry, just wait, what are you waiting for? Wait until Cloud Shinobi village comes to give us money. Huh, what does that mean? You'll understand soon enough. Uchiha Kagami smiled half-heartedly. On the contrary, Third Raikage, who was captured alive, looked grateful and said, Mirror, thank you for educating my son just now. I actually don't want him to take detours. If he can inherit my name, there is actually nothing wrong with it. But your son is stubborn and may not be able to listen, Jing said. It doesn't matter, but I still want to thank you. If you and I were not enemies, maybe we could become good friends. You are indeed a kind person. Haha, indeed, many people say that. Uchiha Kagami smiled slightly. In my mind, a long-lost mechanical prompt appeared. Open black lens bracket ding. System hint. Close black lens bracket, the favorability from Third Raikage plus 10. The relationship is upgraded from superficial friends to close friends and relatives, and 100 points of chakra, black thunder, and aura characteristics are obtained. The strongest body, close black lens bracket. The strongest body. When you take the initiative to learn or practice any nintaijutsu, you will definitely learn the nintaijutsu as long as it conforms to the logical theory, and the physical strength will continue to increase with practice time, and there is no theoretical upper limit. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 63 next time, quote 1 billion directly and allow him to bargain. Advertisement, Uchiha Kagami was shocked, then my heart suddenly became ecstatic. The value of this characteristic aura is too high in the future, even as much as Ninja World Science, and Ninja Professor. To know, the Third Raikage is the strongest single Raikage in the ninja world. But it doesn't mean that the physical body is invincible, it's just that in this era, no one can achieve the power to destroy the world like Madara and Hashirama. Otherwise, no matter how strong your body is, you can be crushed with just one move. The main reason why the Third Raikage was unable to grow to be physically comparable to the god of ninja was not because of chakra. On the contrary, Raikage and the others have a lot of chakra. They are all at the level of tailed beasts, mainly because human genes are shackles, so there is an upper limit to physical growth, and it is impossible to continuously improve. Even the previous Uchiha Kagami was the same. With continuous training and deepening of the physical body, coupled with the blessing of the Steel Escape blood succession limit, it can be stronger than the Third Raikage, but its strength is limited. Beating up 8 tails and 9 tails shouldn't be a problem. But there is definitely no way to defeat Otsutsuki with one punch using his physical body. But things are different now. With the blessing of the strongest body, his physical body can be infinitely improved. In the future, it is no longer a dream to explode Otsutsuki with one punch. This is for him. The value of this characteristic halo is no less than the other two. And all of this came from Third Raikage. Sure enough, I was right not to be ruthless, otherwise I would have missed such a good thing. Then, Uchiha Kagami's expression softened a lot when she looked at Third Raikage. Third Raikage is a little confused. What are you planning to do? Suddenly, there was a red-haired young man in front of him. Nagato endured the awkwardness in his heart and said solemnly, following God's will, the ninjas of Konoha hand over the Third Raikage and spare your life. Arrogant. How dare Shao Ninja Village be so arrogant? Teacher, let me take him down. Come back, you are no match for him. Before Minato could strike out in anger. He was stopped by Uchiha Kagami, looking quite puzzled. Minato and Nagato are both his disciples, but the only people who actually know about it are Tobirama, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Madara, who is hiding behind the scenes. Therefore, in the eyes of the outside world, Kagami only has one apprentice, Minato. Before Kagami had time to tell Minato that he had a senior brother, and one who was younger than him, the scene just happened. Seeing Minato's confusion, Uchiha Kagami pointed at his eyes. Look into his eyes. Huh? This is the legendary eye of the immortal? This red-haired young man is not an ordinary ninja. Who are you? Minato looked over. He immediately noticed something different, and his expression became serious. Have to say, the legend of Sage of Six Paths is a great deterrent to ninjas. Except for some pervert scientists, everyone was basically in awe, which led to Minato not daring to act rashly. Ha ha, ha ha ha. Are you afraid? We are the Akatsuki organization, the ace mercenary organization under Rain Shinobi Village, and also the Savior organization. You taking away Third Raikage will make the ninja world more chaotic. Our Akatsuki organization is a justice organization, and we have the obligation to stop you. Nagato looked up to the sky and laughed, pointing at Uchiha Kagami. I know your name, Uchiha Kagami. But with these eyes, you are no match for me. Hand over the Third Raikage obediently, and I can let you live. Really, I want to see if the immortal eyes are really that powerful? As soon as he finished speaking, with a swish sound, Flying Thunder God started. The next second, Uchiha Kagami disappeared from the spot. Advertisement? Well? Nagato was a little panicked. No, why did the teacher suddenly take action? This is different from what was promised at the beginning. What does this mean? No time to think about it. He raised his hands and opened them, and chakra surged up. Shinra Tianjung. Boom, as Nagato shouted angrily. The surrounding trees and grass were swept up. The huge repulsive force continued to spread, and the entire area of nearly 10 meters was razed to the ground. The scene was very shocking. So strong. Uchiha Kagami retreats continuously. Although he was not injured, he was still swept back. There was a hint of fear and reluctance in his eyes. You are indeed an aspiring young man who has inherited the immortal's eyes. I recognize your strength. I will give you the third Raikage. Let's go. Minato was confused. I feel like the teacher didn't do his best at all. He was forced to retreat with one move, and then left in a grand manner. But he didn't have time to think more. After all, whatever the teacher said was what he said, so the two of them left as flying thunder god. But I didn't leave completely. About a distance apart, the two sat down leaning on the tree. Uchiha Kagami casually dusted himself off and waited quietly. Minato couldn't help but ask curiously, Teacher, although the opponent's move just now was powerful, why didn't you dodge it with your flying thunder god technique? You'll know in a moment, Jing said. All right. Minato nodded. Not long after, 3 people came from behind. Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan walked over with a little excitement on their faces. Teacher, we succeeded. Third Raikage found no flaws. Well done. Uchiha Kagami patted their shoulders and said with a smile, our Akatsuki organization did a good job with the first order, although there are some flaws in the details. Nagato's lines were a bit too stiff, and his on-the-spot reaction was a bit slow. Although Third Raikage is not smart enough, he has his own little cleverness. There is no way to hide it without taking action. But fortunately, it is more than enough to deceive those reckless people. Sorry, teacher. Nagato looked ashamed. I didn't react just now. I was worried about accidentally hurting the teacher, so I hesitated. It's okay, don't blame yourself, good boy. Uchiha Kagami felt a little warm in her heart. He has not shown his strength for so many years, and Mangekyō and Wood style have hidden it. As a result, Nagato thought that he would not be his opponent, but Nagato was such a warm man who was cold on the outside and warm on the inside, always thinking silently about others. Well, before going dark, Uchiha Kagami asked, by the way, how much is the employment fee? 200 million. Konan said, a little less, but not bad. But, I was worried that the Cloud Shinobi village daimyofu would not allocate funds, so I asked for less. The Daiming Prefecture will allocate funds. The third Raikage was captured alive once before, but around the middle and late stages of the war. Now the war has just started. The third Raikage is captured alive again. The losses to the Daiming Prefecture will be huge. Uchiha Kagami said carelessly. The Daiming Mansion doesn't care who plays the role. They only care about the money. Redemption of third Raikage for 200 million. It's not a good deal at all. Next time, I'll just quote 1 billion taels. Allowing him to cut the price by 100 to 200 million makes Raikage think that he has taken advantage, but in fact it is us who have made a profit, Jing said. I've learned my lesson, teacher. Konan nodded obediently. Chapter 64 Uchiha Kagami, Minato, you will be 9 taels Jinchuriki. Advertisement, teacher, how's my performance? These lines. I made them up all by myself. What a god or a savior, they all sound so cool. Yahiko jumped out, he said every word. Uchiha Kagami couldn't help but roll his eyes, and his head collapsed on his forehead. Can't you change the lines to be more plain next time? It sounds so awkward that I can't help but dig my toes into the floor. Where's the awkwardness? How cool. Besides, Nagato has Rinnegan. What is he if he's not a savior? Yahiko pouted. I'm too lazy to tell you. Uchiha Kagami shook his head helplessly. Yahiko has a very outgoing personality, very similar to Naruto. He is also a very sunny and cheerful person, but his aura of being a middle school student is too strong. After Yahiko died in the original work, Nagato not only inherited Yahiko's body. He also inherited his Chuyunibyo. But the good thing is that this is Hokage, and he's actually not that crooked. And at this moment, Minato was completely confused. What on earth is this? Why does the teacher have more apprentices? But under Uchiha Kagami's explanation, he roughly understood the cause and effect. It was their plan to capture and release third Raikage alive. But Minato still doesn't quite understand. Teacher, are you doing this just for money? Money is only one of the reasons. The most important thing is to take away the third Raikage. In fact, the deterrent effect is not great. Uchiha Kagami explained. The reason why Cloud Shinobi village surrendered so quickly last time was because there was no qualified successor to the fourth Raikage for the time being, but now that there is one, they will not surrender so easily. In addition, it can make the Akatsuki organization famous. The Akatsuki organization is a mercenary organization of Rain Shinobi village. It was originally not qualified to be in the sight of other major countries. But Nagato has the legendary fairy eyes, and no one dares to underestimate this organization. And this order is to build momentum for the Akatsuki organization. On the one hand, it can use hiring tasks to gather war resources. On the other hand, it can prevent some small countries from being destroyed. It can also be regarded as contributing to the peace of the ninja world. Then how can you tell the good guys from the bad guys? Minato asked. Whoever gives more money is a good person. Minato was confused. I was shocked by this answer. It seems a bit unacceptable to say that whoever gives more money is a good person. But in fact, the main reason why Uchiha Kagami did this. Or because by doing this, it is no longer enough to obtain chakra. After all, we have captured Cage so many times that everyone is used to it and there won't be too many surprises. And he introduced Nagato as the savior, which can be regarded as cooperating with Nagato to create a bigger scene in the later period. After this time, I think his chakra will surpass Hashirama. Once you learn Senjutsu, you will be invincible in the ninja world. Unless Uchiha Madara is resurrected as 10 Tails Jinchuriki, no one will be able to match him. But there is no way to elaborate on these. So, Uchiha Kagami said, Minato, this world is black and white. Ninjas are a profession of killing people. How can there be real good and bad people? If we really want to talk about good guys and bad guys, the 5 major countries started a ninja war, which caused too many people to die. Then Konoha is also a bad guy, isn't it? But from an individual perspective, there are also a small number of people who are really bad to the core, so they need to be treated differently. Of course he was talking about the old dog Danzo. This guy is completely evil for his own selfish purposes, bad to the core. Others may have killed many people because of their stance, but Danzo is the kind of person who will kill everyone no matter who they are, as long as they endanger my interests. You've been taught a lesson, teacher, Minato nodded. Advertisement, it doesn't matter. You will be the 4th Hokage in the future, and Nagato will become the leader of Rain Shinobi village. You will have many contacts in the future. Let's work together for peace in the ninja world. Is teacher. Minato nodded, then I shook hands with Yahiko and Nagato. Nagato was the first disciple he accepted. Logically speaking, Minato would be called senior brother, but there was an age difference between the two of them. Minato is 21 years old this year, and Nagato is not yet 15. However, the appearance of the two of them is very similar, so Nagato calls him Minato brother, and Minato calls him directly in private. It can be regarded as inheriting Jing's usual casual appearance. Uchiha Kagami asked, by the way, Yahiko, Hanzo will abdicate soon, right? When does Nagato plan to become the leader? It's not him, it's me, Yahiko said. Nagato said that he is not suitable to be the village leader and asked me to be the leader. He will be the leader of the Akatsuki organization to cooperate with me. Conan will be responsible for financial management. That's okay, no problem, keep doing it, Yahiko. Is teacher. Yahiko smiled happily. After receiving the teacher's approval, he felt relieved. In fact, this is no different from what Jingyi expected at the beginning. Although Yahiko is a bit weaker, he has a strong leadership charm. It will allow Rain Shinobi village to grow rapidly. Therefore, in comparison, Yahiko is more suitable. The Akatsuki organization is destined to be an elite organization in the future. Nagato is very strong and can convince the public. As for Conan, there is no one more suitable than him. 3 days later, Cloud Shinobi village kept its promise and gave 200 million in employment fees. The Akatsuki organization took it from Uchiha Kagami, and the news of returning the third Raikage spread like wildfire. At this point, the name of the Akatsuki organization completely resounded throughout the ninja world. Soon after, Hanzo abdicated. Yahiko became the leader of Rain Shinobi village, and Nagato became the leader of the Akatsuki organization, and their names gradually became known to the public. The third Raikage did not suspect that Hanzo was pretending. Although he killed Hanzo before, he did not check the body after all, plus the healing jutsu revealed before the mirror. Let the other party mistakenly think. It was the mirror that saved Hanzo, whose life was hanging by a thread, and thus escaped the fate of death. But as time passed, the war became more intense, and Minato, as the mainstay of Jonin in Konoha, became more and more prominent on the battlefield in order to become the 4th Hokage. Despite his fame, Namikaze Minato was dissatisfied. Especially after meeting the Rinnegan, I discovered that Nagato was only 15 years old and had many more Shikaras than him, and could change the environment and terrain with a single blow. He became increasingly aware of his own shortcomings. Although there is Flying Thunder God, his attack is too weak, so he can still deal with weaker people. But when there are too many, you need to always pay attention to chakra loss to prevent you from being unable to escape from the battlefield with Flying Thunder God. But if he encounters a pervert body like Third Raikage, no matter how fast he is, it will be useless as he will not be able to break through the defense with Kunai. Then, he found his teacher. After arriving at the home of the Uchiha clan leader and bowing to his teacher, he made his intention known. Teacher, I want to become stronger. Can you teach me lightning-style chakra mode? This technique seems to increase the amount of chakra, right? Uchiha Kagami disagreed, but that's too slow. Minato, lightning-style chakra mode. Takes a long time to study. Now the war is about to enter a fierce stage, and you are too late. Then what should I do? Is this the only limit I have? No, it's much more than that. Your talent is very strong, but you need to take a shortcut. This shortcut can help you. It depends on whether you are willing. Teacher, please tell me. The method is simple. You become 9 Tails Jinchuriki. Chapter 65 Obito, if you take the wrong road, you can't turn back. Advertisement, Namikaze Minato was confused and asked, Teacher, if Kushina loses 9 tails, she will die as a Jinchuriki. Under normal circumstances, this is indeed the case, but I have a way to ensure that Kushina will not die, but will be slightly weaker, Jing said. Really? Of course it's true, Minato. Of course Jing didn't talk nonsense. As a rule, Jinchuriki's tailed beast pulling away is fatal. But there are often exceptions. For example, in the original work, Killer Bee was pulled away from 8 tails, but Shikara, who was left with an octopus tentacle, did not die. And he can actually completely split 9 tails into 2 parts. But here comes the problem. 9 tails and 8 tails are different, and they cannot be operated like 8 tails. Unless you become 10 tails Jinchuriki and incarnate as 6 paths, use yin-yang escape to split 9 tails in 2, which is the easiest and most difficult method. The original sage of 6 paths. Just use yin-yang done to divide 10 tails into 10 parts. The ghetto statue, which represents the body of 10 tails and the 9-tailed beasts. This is almost as good as creating life. It is of course easy to divide the tailed beasts again, but the current Uchiha Kagami cannot do it. Either. Just like Namikaze Minato in the original work. Split 9 tails into 2 parts with Ghoul Seal and 8-Sign Seal. But existences like Shinigami are too mysterious. Unless you can get a bug like Orochimaru, don't use this method easily. There is a third method. It can also avoid the ending of Jinchuriki being pulled away from the tailed beast. A typical example is that after Obito took the lead in transforming into 6 paths, he was defeated by Naruto and Sasuke and separated from 10 tails. Originally, Obito was also destined to die. Even Black Zetsu temporarily regained his life, but used the Rinne Tensei technique. Both of them add up to death upon death, but Naruto, who has opened the power of 6 paths young, forcibly changed his life to avoid the fate of death. In fact, this is the powerful power of yin-yang escape. Yin escape uses the power of yin as its source from the mental energy of the master's imagination to create forms out of nothing. Yang dun uses the power of yang as the source of the body energy that governs life, and gives life to the form. Naruto was able to regenerate Kakashi's left eye and save Guy from the inevitable death of the 8 inner gates formation, all because of the second power. Note: Obito was actually cured by Naruto in the end. This is what Obito said in the original novel. There is no such thing as Naruto. Naruto only has a short life extension. 6 paths Naruto can create life from scratch, although it is only temporary. But this method was too early, he didn't even have a Rinnegan. How about controlling yin-yang escape? In addition to these 3 methods, Uchiha Kagami also has a 4th method. That's what's all-powerful, science. You must know that the reason why the tailed beast was separated and Jinchuriki died was because it lost a lot of vitality. The vitality of human beings is inherently fragile, and even the Uzumaki clan can barely support it, so they need additional vitality. Therefore, as early as a few years ago, when Minato was accepted as a disciple, Mirror has actually made plans in advance for Orochimaru to continue studying Hashirama cells. This time is different from last time. The vitality that needs to be provided this time is extremely huge. And it can sufficiently replenish the vitality lost due to the loss of 9 tails. With the blessing of Ninja World Science, it turned decay into a miracle, and finally developed Hashirama Cell 2.0 Vitality Replenishing Potion, a few days ago. Advertisement: this potion. Enough for Kushina to survive stripping off a tailed beast. Minato. Let's go to the beach in 3 days. 9 tails will definitely go berserk when it is stripped away. In order to prevent it from affecting the people in the village, it is better to stay away. In addition, we need to report it to Orochimaru. Okay, teacher. Minato nodded. Kagami took a potion from Orochimaru. Then he took Minato, Kushina, Kakashi, Obito, and Shisui to the sea, and at the speed of the flying thunder god, they would arrive in no time. Orochimaru didn't come, after all, being a Hokage is very busy. And he also believed that the mirror could handle 9 tails. After all, after awakening First Hokage's wood style, 9 tails would not be a problem. They specially picked a small, uninhabited island. There were constant waves all around, the banana trees were swaying on the sea, and the young people on the beach looked nervous. No way. 9 tails, the strongest tailed beast. For these teenagers, the deterrent effect is very great. Minato wasn't sure why he brought Obito and the others here. Wouldn't it be more dangerous, but he didn't ask in detail. Since the teacher does this, there must be a reason. Uncle Mirror. Obito stood next to him, cautious and scared. Why do you have to bring us here? Are you really not afraid that the tailed beast can be suppressed? It's very simple, just to show you how weak the tailed beast is. Obito didn't believe it, but Kakashi admired him very much and said with shining eyes. Look, I told you that Uncle Jing can definitely do it. 9 tails can suppress it in minutes. Uncle Jing and my father are known as the 2 heroes of Konoha, so there will be no problem. Of course. Uchiha Kagami patted his head, looked at the confused Obito, and asked in a serious tone, Obito, do you really like that girl named Lin? How did you know? Obito blushed immediately. Well, I didn't say that. I'm not. I just have a good impression, not. It's not a good boy to lie. Okay, I like Lin, Obito admitted. Oh, then let me ask you, what if the Lin you like becomes a tailed beast Jinchuriki, and one day she is controlled by a bad person to go on a rampage in Konoha and harm people? Uchiha Kagami asked patiently, and Lin was also aware of the danger, and died in Kakashi's hands on purpose. Whose fault do you think it was? Lin became a Jinchuriki and died at the hands of Kakashi, clan leader. Don't be kidding me, I never thought about it. I'm not kidding, just think about it now. Obito's eyes were a little frightened. Even his face became a little pale. Uchiha Kagami stared into his eyes and said calmly, if Lin dies, will you feel that it is the fault of this world? And then you would not hesitate to kill the person you were closest to for Lin. For example, the teacher and wife who love you the most. Obito's eyes widened and he said in disbelief. How is it possible? How could I do this? Isn't that like an animal? The teacher cares about me so much. My master takes care of me so much, I will never do that. Yeah? Uchiha Kagami looked at him and said sincerely. I hope you remember what I said today, Obito. If one day the girl you like dies in front of you, it will definitely not be the fault of this world, nor the fault of others. But remember, don't run away from reality. If you take the wrong path, you can't turn back. Chapter 66 New Nine Tails Jinchuriki, Favorability Mission completed. Advertisement, Obito was panicked. After listening to these words, I always feel uneasy in my heart. If he were an ordinary person, he wouldn't believe these words, but Jing is his elder after all, and one of the elders he trusts very much. In terms of seniority, he is Namikaze Minato's disciple, and Minato is Mirror's disciple. Logically speaking, Obito wanted him to call him Master, but Mr. Mirror felt that this title was as unlucky as if he was buried in the grave, so he asked Obito to call him Uncle like before. Or just call the clan leader. In these years of getting along, the two actually have a very close relationship. At least compared to the Minato couple, they are pretty much the same, except that Uchiha Kagami is not so popular with children because of her status as the clan leader. And Obito has had many barbecues at his house over the years, so the two of them have a good relationship. He felt that if he could use words to make Obito less extreme and awaken Mangekyō's power, it couldn't be easier. As for Lin, Impure World reincarnation can also be revived. After transforming into 6 paths, it will not be a problem to develop Rinne Tensai without side effects. After all, he is cheating. These little things are very simple. Okay, let's get started. Uchiha Kagami clapped his hands. Let Minato take Kakashi, Obito, and Shisui away, and the two of them came in front of Kushina. Kushina lifted up her clothes, revealing her white belly. He is Kushina's elder, so there are no other evil thoughts. Instead, he watched quietly, looking at the clearly visible black seal lines on his belly, as if he could see through the deep hatred of Nine Tails at a glance. Uchiha Kagami looked slightly condensed and said, I will unseal your seal later and let Nine Tails come out of your body. Minato will take you away first. I will inject you with life potion to maintain it, but you will definitely be weak if you are weak, and it will take a while to recover. After that, I will personally suppress Nine Tails, and then seal Nine Tails into Minato's body with the 8-sign seal. Ready, Kushina. Ready, senior. Then I'll start, Untail seal. Come out, Nine Tails. Uchiha Kagami looked solemn. He quickly formed a seal with his hands and raised his hand to press on her belly. I saw the black seal lines on her belly, rapidly twisting and spreading to all directions, which was the prelude to unlocking the seal. Then, Kushina's belly turned black. A sting. A ball of extremely scarlet and evil chakra rose into the sky and turned into a huge Nine Tails demon fox, standing on this deserted island. The whole island is not big. Nine Tails has appeared, occupying almost half of the island. Minato, take Kushina, his teacher, at the reminder of the mirror. Minato became a flying thunder god and left with Kushina in his arms. Ho ho, as soon as Nine Tails appears. His eyes were filled with hatred, and he immediately opened his bloody mouth. Chakra began to condense, and a stunning-tailed beast bomb burst through the air. Uchiha Kagami was wearing a red armor and stood so small on the treetops without any fear at all. This trick is useless to me, flying thunder god technique guiding mine. Uchiha Kagami forms a hand seal. The special kunai in his hand opened, and the huge flying thunder god barrier spread out. The tailed beast bomb hit the barrier, swallowing up the tailed beast bomb inch by inch, and then appeared on another sea area. Advertisement boom. Explosions resounded all around. A large area of seawater was instantly evaporated. Even though it was 10 kilometers away, there was still an astonishing huge wave. As expected of tailed beast bomb, Uchiha Kagami couldn't help but sigh. With such power, it's no wonder Madara wanted to control 9 Tails to fight Hashirama. With Madara's power at that time, cooperating with Susanoo, it can really improve a lot of strength. But it's a pity. Even with such terrifying power, it is still no match for Hashirama. But then again, the gap between the tailed beasts is too big. In the later stage of Naruto's 9 Tails mode, he easily defeated 5 tailed beasts and even had some energy left. Looking at it this way, the old man from 6 paths is really biased. When dividing the tailed beasts, chakra will most likely be 1 for Shukaku, 1 for 9 Tails, 1 for 2 Tails, 1 for 9 Tails, 1 for 3 Tails and 1 for 9 Tails. After equal portioning, we found out, so much left? Never mind, all to the lovely Kurama. Don't tell me, Kurama was really cute when he was a child, but when he grows up, he looks a bit like a husky, but he is not so lovable. Seeing as the tailed beast bomb doesn't work, 9 Tails roared crazily and rushed over immediately. He raised his hand to slap the human in front of him to death. But the next second, Uchiha Kagami clapped his hands, and a huge crack suddenly appeared on the ground. Wood-style wood dragon technique, click, click. Countless vines intertwined. It transformed into a slender and huge wooden dragon and bound 9 Tails tightly. No matter how hard it struggled, it was to no avail. But 9 Tails is still struggling, after all, it has just been released. Everyone has their moments of mischief. That's enough, Kurama. Uchiha Kagami's eyes widened and turned into a barbed windmill. Under Mangekyō's eye power hypnosis, the opponent immediately calmed down. When 9 Tails heard this title, he couldn't help but be a little surprised and shocked. Where did you know that? And your Sharingan, this reminds me of. That man, he also enslaved and controlled me like that. Now, are you going to control me too? Damn human? Uchiha Kagami said, I have no interest in your power. As for your name, I will tell you later. What you need to do now is, Find someone to be your residence. Residence? What do you mean? To put it simply, it's like replacing Nine Tails Jinchuriki, and you need to provide him with chakra and help him as much as possible. Aren't you going to use me? Damn human being. Nine Tails' eyes became more and more angry. But he was forced to calm down by Mangekyō hypnosis. Uchiha Kagami is too lazy to talk nonsense. Anyway, Naruto can resolve conflicts with Nine Tails. Minato's personality charm is much stronger than Naruto. He feels that he may not be able to control the Nine Tails mode, and it may even be sooner. Leftover, he doesn't care, just leave it to Minato. Then, Uchiha Kagami stored 9 tails in Minato's body as 8-sign seal. On the other side, Kushina injected Hashirama's life potion, but did not die due to the tailed beast being withdrawn. Minato became the new Jinchuriki. Teacher, is this successful? Minato said in surprise. Of course, you are the new 9 tails Jinchuriki, but if you want to fully master the power of 9 tails, I suggest you. Before Uchiha Kagami could finish speaking, in his mind, a long-lost mechanical sound came. Open black lens bracket ding. System hint. Close black lens bracket, favorability mission, completed, change Namikaze Minato's fate of dying in the 9 Tails Rebellion, close black lens bracket. Rewards. Eternal Mangekyō Sharingan, Culture Vessel, Namikaze Minato's favorability plus 20, Chakra 2000 points. Chapter 67 Eye of Eternity, 12-year-old Jonin. Advertisement, mission accomplished. Uchiha Kagami raised her eyebrows slightly. He was a little surprised, but basically it was expected. At first, he thought that since he wanted to change Minato's fate, he might as well just enhance Minato's strength. But later I found out, simply strengthening his strength is not enough. Even if he teaches more advanced ninjutsu, it will be useless. After all, Minato's basic conditions are still a bit weak, and chakra is far inferior to the Uzumaki family. It will be useless if you can't use a few more ninjutsu. So he simply changed the plot and let Minato serve as the new 9 Tails Jinchuriki. And Minato is a person with a very charming personality. Naruto has become friends with 9 Tails through more than 10 years of hard work. Then Minato will take care of 9 Tails in 2 or 3 years, so it won't be difficult to open a 9 Tails model, right? Although Minato does not have the mouth escape technique. But in the original work, even 9 Tails actually rarely expressed his admiration for the man who once sealed him. Not to mention, even the rap singer Killer Bee can get along well with 8 Tails. I, Minato, am no more friendly than you, Killer Bee, and with my own advice and guidance, I have a chance to become the perfect Jinchuriki. Now that he has become a perfect Jinchuriki, there is almost no such thing as the 9 Tails chaos. Sure enough, the task was accomplished. Teacher, why don't you speak? Minato waved his hand, with a puzzled look on his handsome face. You just said how to master the power of 9 Tails. It's very simple. Be friends with 9 Tails, Jing said. What? So simple, it's easy to say and hard to say? Uchiha Kagami patted him on the shoulder and taught him patiently. Tailed beasts are actually very lonely. They have never wanted to bring trouble to the ninja world. It's just that human selfishness is too serious. The tailed beasts want to control the power of the tailed beasts to achieve their own goals, so the tailed beasts hate humans more and more. The tailed beasts all have their own names. Before making friends, you must at least use their names to show respect. Tailed beasts have names? This is the first time I've heard of them, so what's the name of 9 Tails? Kurama. It's a cute name, I understand, teacher. Minato showed a warm smile. I will become good friends with Kurama. I believe that one day I will resolve the hatred in his heart. Yeah, I believe you. Uchiha Kagami smiled gently. I have to say, Minato is really handsome. This warm and handsome smile, even the mirror is infected. I think Kurama will be conquered soon. After returning to Konoha village, after arriving in the bedroom at home, I made sure no one was around. He took out a glass vessel from his arms, which was filled with translucent nutrient solution, and the nutrient solution wrapped 2 Mangekyō Sharingan. The shape on the Sharingan is completely different from his pair. It is a triangular rhombus pattern. Seeing this pair of Sharingan, Uchiha Kagami looked suspicious. This doesn't seem to be the Eternal Eye, right? Isn't it an ordinary Mangekyō? Hey, system. Why are you lying to people? Why don't you explain? Open black lens bracket ding. The system never lies. Close black lens bracket, the Sharingan Eye extracted the genes of your brother from the earth and cultivated the Mangekyō Sharingan. As long as you successfully transplant it, it will evolve into the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan. ZG people do not lie to ZG people, close black lens bracket. Uchiha Kagami slapped his forehead and flashed a black line, and said very speechlessly, even on earth, I don't have an older brother, I am an orphan. How can I get an older brother without a father and mother? Did you just make it up out of thin air? This system says there is, then there is. How? Close black lens bracket. Awesome. What else can Uchiha Kagami say? The system created a brother for him out of thin air. And he also bred Mangekyō Sharingan from his brother's genes. Advertisement, you are so awesome. Why don't you just give me a pair of eternal eyes? Or, just let me evolve into the eternal eye. I have to cut it out and replace it myself, which is really unnecessary. Uchiha Kagami was too lazy to complain. He took a deep breath and dug out his eyes. 2 wisps of blood immediately streaked across his cheeks. Hiss, it hurts a little, please change it quickly. Uchiha Kagami gasped. Take out the Mangekyō from the culture vessel. Then he directly placed it in his eye socket, his eyeballs immediately rolled, and the injury recovered in an instant. After all, there are perfect levels of Hashirama cells. With the blessing of Wuyin's self-healing, this injury is nothing at all. At this moment, the scarlet eye is changed into other shapes. The original barbed windmill has a triangular diamond pattern, which looks very cool. Yes, we have the Eye of Eternity. Uchiha Kagami glanced at the original Mangekyō in his hand and couldn't help but look forward to it. But these eyes are not useless. Maybe they can be transplanted to Shisui in the future, so that Shisui can also awaken the eternal Mangekyō. To know, Shisui's talent is also very strong. Although he is still young now, he has already shown his talent. For example, the unique teleportation technique, and the follow-up distinguished heavenly gods, an illusion that can modify the will, can come in handy at critical moments. In the original book, even though Shisui died, his eyes helped Itachi escape from the control of Impure World reincarnation. This changed the outcome of the Fourth Ninja War. So, how strong will Shisui be with the Eternal Eye? As time flows, the major ninja villages launch strong attacks one after another. Especially, Sunagakure's latest fourth Kazekage is the Red Sand Scorpion. Because Kagami killed Chiyo before, Scorpion's attack on Konoha was extremely crazy. Coupled with the cooperation of the third Kazekage, the two attacks were almost impeccable. Konoha's White Fang Hitaki Tsukumo did his job and started a battle with it. But with 1 against 2, they were quickly defeated. Afterwards, Konoha Sannin fought with them and barely stalled the battle. Although Kirigakure was also attacking, it did not dispatch enough land and sea elites, and seemed to be waiting for some opportunity. As second only to Konoha, Iwagakure changed from usual and dispatched tens of thousands of rock shinobi ninjas. Although Cloud Shinobi village is not as good as its opponent, with the joint efforts of Third Raikage and AB, even Konoha with its dirty soil troops has gradually declined. The battlefront has approached the border of the country of fire. Note: the reason why the war situation is declining is not that Impure World reincarnation is not effective, but that Impure World reincarnation is blasphemous to the soul after all. Considering that the number of people and family members is temporarily small, it is also because Jing did not take action. Orochimaru plans to send Mirror to support. Dan Jing recommended his apprentice Minato and the 3 teenagers in Minato's class. Kakashi, Obito, and Nohara Rin, these 3 teenagers, except Obito, all showed great talents. Nohara Rin's medical talent is very rare. Kakashi's talent is even more amazing. At only 12 years old, he became the youngest Jonin like Shisui. The two teamed up to break the youngest Jonin record in Konoha history. P.S. Originally, Kakashi was only a 12-year-old Jonin, but since there are teachings and teachings from the mirror, it is normal for Shisui to be a 12-year-old Jonin. Chapter 68 Obito. I'm not a jerk, advertisement the border of the Fire Nation. The 3 of them squatted under a tree. Minato, Kakashi, and Nohara Rin are all here. Only Obito was slower and it took him a long time to catch up. Sorry, Obito said with shame on his face. Teacher, I'm late, I was delayed by something. Do you know what time we will gather? My father said. As a ninja, the most important thing you should know is to abide by the rules, Kakashi said with disgust. Obito explained in a panic. I was able to get there, but I met an old lady asking for directions on the way. The old lady was carrying a lot of things. I was worried that she would be too tired by herself, so I sent her back. Haha. I don't believe it. Kakashi even believes it. But he also chose to quarrel with Obito, and the two never dealt with each other. One thinks the other person is too much of a drag and pretends to be a warm-hearted boy all the time. The other thinks the other person is too stinky and pretends to be cool all the time. Okay, we are all partners, don't quarrel. Nohara Lin stopped her gently. Kakashi glanced at Obito and said with arrogant expression, Lin, are you too spoiled to Obito? Today is an important day for me. Shisui and I were both promoted to Jonin, breaking Konoha's record. Teacher gave me a special flying thunder god kunai. Lin gave me an improved medical kit, what about you? I don't have a gift for you, Obito pouted. Kakashi shrugged indifferently. Forget it, it's useless for you to give me gifts. You are a dragster anyway, so giving me gifts will become a burden. What are you talking about? Someone like you can become a Jonin. Obito stared at him with his hands on his hips and said unconvinced, sooner or later, Obito, will surpass you. I am a member of the Uchiha clan. When my Sharingan opens its eyes, I will be able to defeat you. Kakashi mocked disdainfully. Do you have to activate Sharingan to surpass me? Shisui and I grew up together. He developed a unique teleportation technique before he even opened his eyes. Even I am not his opponent. Shisui is very strong even without opening his eyes, but what about you? You can only rely on Sharingan. Obito was furious. He couldn't help but wanted to take action, but Lin stopped him. Namikaze Minato on the side stood up and said with a serious look, okay, let's stop arguing. Now it's time to talk about our mission. According to the intelligence, Iwagakure dispatched tens of thousands of ninjas, intending to pull the battle line directly into our Kingdom of Fire, but this is absolutely not possible. But the opponent has tens of thousands of ninjas, and based on their continuous advancement of the front line, it can be seen that the Kingdom of Earth definitely has very strong backup. We cannot confront them head-on, we must take other measures. What measures, sensei? Kakashi asked, right here. Namikaze Minato pointed at the map. If you want to defeat the enemy at the front line without choosing a frontal battle, You need to destroy their bridge transporting supplies to cut off the opponent's supply route. Evacuate immediately after success. I will directly attack Iwagakure's enemies on the front line to distract you. After I leave. Kakashi, you will be the captain. Clear. The 3 Kakashi nodded solemnly. The 4 of them acted separately and soon arrived behind the enemy's rear. But the opponent has a trap already and the battle is about to break out. However, Kakashi was too young after all. The 12-year-old Jonin let him underestimate the enemy, and Nohara Lin was captured alive. But the difference from the original work is, although Kakashi abides by the rules of the ninja, he is also taught by the mirror. Not wanting to abandon his companions to complete the mission, he and Obito launched a rescue operation. After all, those who ignore their companions are the worst kind of trash. Soon they encountered an enemy, Iwagakure's Jonin Oishi, who quietly abducted Nohara Rin using the camouflage stealth technique. Advertisement and Obito didn't open his eyes. Unable to detect the opponent's position at all, Oishi stabbed the kunai in his hand. Kid, you are too weak, die, but the next second. A flash of white light flashed, and Kakashi raised his hand to fight it back. Dashi's chest was cut open, and although the injury was minor, a lot of blood still flowed out. Dashi stood on the tree and stared at the other person. Silver hair? Chakra knife shining with white light? Could it be that you were with that, Konoha's White Fang? I am his son. It turns out to be just a child of Konoha's White Fang, so there is no threat, haha. Ninja technique. Camouflage stealth technique. Dashi laughed ferociously. As soon as you raise your hand, you become one with the environment. Kakashi sniffed his nose and frowned. I can't smell anything anymore. It seems I can only predict his location by the faint sound of air movement. Then where is he now? I can't hear him at all. Behind you. Be careful. Kakashi's expression changed. But Obito is too weak now and has no time to react. Kakashi could only bite the bullet and block in front of Obito. The kunai instantly scratched his eyes, and a wisp of blood shot out instantly. Hiss, my eyes. Kakashi, are you okay? Are you okay? Obito became nervous instantly. I walked over, tears welling up under my goggles. Kakashi was in pain but could bear it, but he was no longer able to fight, so he could only encourage Obito as much as possible. The enemy is not simple either. He immediately dropped the kunai with my bloodline attached to it. Obito, stop crying. You have goggles, there's no way sand could get in, you're such a crybaby. You are a ninja. You are not a waste to the end of the crane. Don't let Uncle Jing live up to his expectations for you. I see. Obito looked at the injured Kakashi. A completely different power seemed to burst out in his heart. And behind, there was the sound of a sneak attack. However, Obito suddenly turned around and stabbed the kunai behind him. Poof! The kunai pierced his body. Dashi stared at the other party and lost his voice in shock. How is it possible? How? Can you see me? No, your eyes. He found that the boy in front of him was different. The goggles no longer cover the eye sockets, but the eyes within the sockets. The Sharingan has long been transformed into a scarlet eye with dazzling eyes, and it is not an ordinary Magatama. But, Tutomo Sharingan. Obito kicked the corpse down with a strong look in his eyes. This time. It's my turn to protect my companions. I'm not a loser at the end of a crane, nor am I a crybaby. I'm Uchiha Obito. Chapter 69 Kill Jonin Fire. This is the power of bonds. Advertisement, Obito. Kakashi looked into his eyes and asked, your eyes are different from the original ones. Have you opened them? Yes, this should be Sharingan. Obito touched his eyes and couldn't help but sigh. I can clearly see the flow of chakra. The opponent's camouflage and visibility technique is completely ineffective on me, and my vision is even sharper. I'm no longer a weakling. The ordinary Sharingan has improved so much. So how strong is Uncle Mirror's Mangekyō? Yeah, it hurts. Kakashi covered the scar on his left eye with a painful expression. Kakashi, are you okay? How are your eyes? Obito asked worriedly. I guess I can't save it, but fortunately I have the medical kit Lin gave me. I can take care of it briefly. Let's go rescue Lin right away. Okay, let's go. Kakashi used the medical kit to treat his injuries. Soon he caught up with another target, Iwagakure's Jonin Firelight, who hid with Lin in a cave. Oh, it seems that Dashi has been eliminated by you? Huo Guang sneered. Dignified Jonin can't even deal with 2 brats, why are they all so useless? But the 2 young men ignored him. Obito turned on Sharingan and observed Lin's condition. Kakashi, the chakra flow in Lin's body is abnormally chaotic. There seems to be something wrong. Maybe it's an illusion. This proves that the enemy is eager to obtain information, Kakashi speculated. Humph, it seems that you are not ordinary brats. It seems that we must deal with you. Huo Guang laughed ferociously. He raised his hand and fired a few shurikens. Obito easily avoided it, but the fire approached quickly. However, haven't had time to take action yet. Kakashi jumped down and slashed with the blade in his hand. Blood spurted out from the other's chest. Because they were concerned about Lin's safety, the 2 of them had no time to investigate the truth. Just released Lin's illusion. Suddenly, the body behind him turned into soil. What? Earth clone? Kakashi's pupils tightened. The 2 of them suddenly turned around and saw that the fire was not dead. Instead, he stood at the exit of the cave and showed a proud and treacherous smile. Although you cooperated very well, you only killed my clone. A brat is a brat, so go to hell. Earth-style rock house collapse. Boom, boom. In an instant, the entire cave began to shake. Under the influence of the opponent's ninjutsu, large boulders began to fall, and the entire cave began to collapse. Quick! Run! Obito, Kakashi! Lin suddenly panicked. As a medical ninja, you must protect yourself first. So she ran in front. Kakashi and Obito ran in a hurry, but it seemed that it was too late. Boom! Because Kakashi is missing his left eye. As a result, there was a blind spot in the angle of view, and he was hit on the head by a stone. He stumbled and fell to the ground, briefly fainting. Just then, suddenly, a huge rock suddenly fell from above and was about to hit Kakashi. Kakashi, be careful! Obito's expression changed suddenly. Without enough time to react, he raised his hand and threw Kakashi out. The boulder directly pressed down on half of Obito's body. Kakashi woke up and gritted his teeth to move the boulder. No, Obito, I will save you. Kakashi, save your strength, I can't do it anymore. Half of Obito's face was slightly stiff, and he said intermittently, the left half of my body is completely crushed. I can't feel the pain anymore, only numbness. How come? No, how could it become like this? Rin and Kakashi's faces were filled with sadness. Advertisement Kakashi looked annoyed. If he had been more careful, if he hadn't been knocked unconscious just now. Obito wouldn't have become like this just to save me. Kakashi was filled with self-blame. I'm sorry, Obito, I don't deserve to be captain, I don't deserve to be Jonin, I don't deserve to be your partner. You. Don't say this, you are a genius. A relieved smile appeared on Obito's lips. I became Jonin at the age of 12. No one is more suitable than you. Since the teachers and others have given you gifts, I would like to congratulate you on your promotion to Jonin. I give you my Sharingan. Kakashi and Lin both looked stunned. None of them expected that Obito would make such a choice. No matter what people in the village say, you are an outstanding ninja. After all, your talent is recognized by even Uncle Mirror. Blood overflowed from Obito's mouth, but he kept talking. He thinks you were qualified to be a Hokage. In fact, I was not convinced at first, because I also have the dream of being a Hokage. But now it seems that the dream is about to be shattered. Kakashi, I need you to help me finish it. I will. Kakashi had tears in his eyes. Lin was also crying constantly, feeling sad in her heart. Please, Lin. Obito felt more and more that his life was passing by, so he urged, transplant my Sharingan, including the eye axis, into Kakashi's left eye. I'm going to die. Kakashi, this Sharingan will help you see the future clearly. Quick. Don't waste time. Lin kept urging. This allowed Kakashi to reluctantly cheer up, and under the operation of Lin's medical ninjutsu, Obito's left eye was transplanted to his left eye. And before the cave completely collapsed, Kakashi gritted his teeth and fled out with Lin. Boom. The cave collapsed completely, and Obito was completely buried by a large amount of rock. When death was approaching, his heart was filled with reluctance and sadness. It took a lot of effort to get a better relationship with Kakashi. In the end, I still couldn't confess to Lin in the end. I'm such a coward. I really want to be with them forever. And, Uncle Jing, I'm sorry, I failed to live up to your expectations of me, farewell. And the other side, the fleeing Kakashi confronts Rock Shinobi Jonin. Huo Guang couldn't help being a little surprised. He looked at the other party and said sarcastically, what a troublesome brat, how can he still survive? But a brat is a brat. Did your parents teach you that ninjas can't shed tears? You don't understand at all. What is a bond? Let's end it. The Sharingan in Kakashi's left eye rotates. He pulled out the white fang blade from his back and rushed towards the opponent, the blade slashing down in the air. Clang. Click. There was a sound of metal clashing. Sparks flew everywhere, and the white fang blade was completely shattered. The blades tied to the opponent's hands seemed to be extremely sharp. In addition, Kakashi was still young after all, and he did not have much Chikara instilled in him, so he could not compare with the Chikara of an adult Jonin. It is normal for the white fang blade to break. Seeing the opponent's sharp blade coming, Kakashi remained calm. Chidori. Kakashi ducked sideways. At an extremely fast speed, lightning flashed in the palm of his right hand. The ear-piercing thunder made a sharp sound and penetrated directly into the enemy's chest, causing blood to spurt out immediately. Kid. Huo Guang vomited blood and said in disbelief. Your strength is actually stronger than before? What have you done? Haha, you don't understand at all. Go to hell. Kakashi touched his left eye with his left hand. The Chidori in his right hand suddenly exerted force and then pulled it out. Plop. The fire died and the body fell to the ground. He is stronger than before, isn't this natural? Because. This is the power of bonds. Chapter 70 The Undead of the Uchiha Clan. My name is Uchiha Madara. Advertisement however, there's too much movement here. Attracting a large number of Iwagakure's ninjas, they attacked Kakashi and Lin. As for Kakashi, due to the previous battles and the loss of Sharingan, there was not much chakra left, so he could only kill a few enemies with Chidori at most. But that's all. Seeing more and more enemies, Kakashi became more and more powerless. Is that the end? I'm sorry, Obito, I'm afraid I can't rely on your eyes to clearly see the future of the ninja world. No, you still have a chance. Suddenly, a familiar voice came to my ears. I saw a golden light flashing continuously, and a handsome figure appeared. Minato jumped quickly with Flying Thunder God, and almost instantly eliminated more than 20 ninjas. The battle ended easily and Minato walked over. It doesn't matter to you all. Where are the Obito people? Teacher. Kakashi was full of self-blame. Obito was crushed to death by a rock in order to save me. He sacrificed for Konoha. I see, I'm sorry, I'm late. Namikaze Minato glanced at the collapsed cave. It seemed that he couldn't help but want to confirm something, but in the end he held back for some reason and fell into brief contemplation. Teacher, aren't you sad? Kakashi wondered. I'm sad. How could I not be sad? Obito is the hero of Konoha, and his sacrifice will bring peace to the ninja world. Minato was stunned for a moment. He reacted in time and showed just the right amount of sadness. After all, Kakashi and Lin were still young and did not see the flaws in his acting skills. Then they completed their mission. The bridge was blown up, interrupting Iwagakure's supply route. This battle later became known as the Battle of Kanabi Bridge, and Konoha had two more Sharingan heroes. One of them was engraved on the memorial tablet. The other one was later famous in the ninja world, Sharingan Kakashi. Hill Tomb. In the underground space, the Geto statue stands. Obito woke up leisurely on the bed with half of his body wrapped in bandages, feeling a little confused. Where is this place? Young man from the Uchiha clan, this place is the gap between the cycle of life and death. Crack? Obito is confused. I saw an old man in front of me. The old man is wearing a black robe, his long hedgehog hair is all gray, and his face is covered with wrinkles, but above his left eye is 3 Tomo Sharingan. Your eyes. Are they Sharingan too? Obito guessed in surprise. Grandpa, are you also an elder of the Uchiha clan? Just like my Uncle Jing? Grandpa saved me, right? What does the gap between the cycle of life and death mean? Where is this place? Why is it so dark? I can't see anything. Etc. Advertisement. Grandpa, is the scythe in your hand a Shinigami? Is it responsible for taking people to heaven or hell? No, I don't want to die yet. I'm still young. I haven't even kissed a girl on the mouth. I don't want to go to hell yet. Help. Who will save me? The old man said seriously, I am not Shinigami. The scythe is revealed. You say you are not a Shinigami? Obito did not believe in evil and wailed and begged for mercy. You are definitely the Shinigami in charge of the life and death of the Uchiha clan, right? Don't take me to hell. I'm a good person. I've helped my grandmother cross the road since I was a child, and I've helped many people in need. Although I do make a lot of pranks, I won't go to hell, right? Oh shit. It hurts so much, because of too much excitement. Obito pulled at the wound and gasped. The old man commented silently. You still know that pain means you are still alive, but your brain circuit is quite novel, and you talk a lot. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. Obito apologized. But it's definitely a miracle that you were rescued. You were not completely crushed by the rock. It was like you passed through the rock, the old man added. What happened next? You saved me, Obito asked. Yes, you fell down in the underground passage I built, right next to the collapsed rock. You are so lucky. The old man said calmly, but despite this, half of your body is severely damaged, so I helped you with simple treatment. Thank you, old man. It's too early to talk about Shihaya now. Please repay me for this kindness in the future. Huh? I'm sorry, I can't stay here forever, since I'm still alive. I have to return to Konoha quickly. Obito said excitedly. I can't let the teacher, Kakashi and the others worry, and if I open my eyes, Uncle Jing will be very happy. It's still a time of war. With Sharingan, I can better protect my companions and become stronger. No, you can't be a ninja anymore. The old man shook his head silently. See the reality clearly. Not everything in this world is as you wish. The longer you live, the clearer you will see. The reality is actually helplessness, pain and emptiness. Obito was speechless. What nonsense is this old man talking about? I don't understand it at all. Does he have Alzheimer's disease? But Uchiha Madara didn't care whether he understood or not, he just kept talking to himself. Young man, in this world, wherever there is light, there must be darkness. The so-called victors are also relative to the losers. If you want to maintain peace for your own selfishness, you will definitely lead to war. And in order to protect love, hatred will be born. This cycle will never stop. It is almost impossible to cut off the cause and effect of hatred. The reality is so cruel. Obito was speechless and choked. Has this old man started talking? If I keep nagging like this, will it be over? Even Uncle Jing is not as nagging as you. What an annoying old guy. Obito couldn't bear it anymore and said angrily. Since just now, you old man has been nagging and saying some things that people can't understand. I don't want to stay in such a ghost place. I want to go back to Konoha. I want to find return to my companions and elders. If you want to leave, no one will stop you. Obito just wanted to take action. But something seemed to be wrong. Why does this old man have a Sharingan but hide it underground? He has met almost all the elders in Uchiha, but this old man is very strange. It seems that this old man is not a ninja of Konoha. Obito asked in a low voice. Are you a defecting ninja? So, old man, who are you? The old man smiled. He walked to the tree chair under the golem. He put the sickle aside, slowly sat on the seat, and said lightly, Then let me tell you, I am the undead of the Uchiha clan. You. Kai. Wave. Madara. Chapter 71 Two Choices, Konoha's Hero or Escaping Reality. Advertisement Konoha Village, in front of Obito's commemorative monument. Master and apprentice Minato are laying flowers. Namikaze Minato complained in a low voice. Teacher, I feel. It's weird to worship like this when someone is not dead yet. It's not surprising, Obito has indeed experienced a death, Jing said. But, do you really not need to worry about anything? He is a legendary figure as famous as First Hokage. If it goes against Obito, will it be too late to rescue him? Minato asked worriedly. In time, I left the Flying Thunder God spell on him, Jing replied. Then teacher. Are you really going to do this? That girl Lin is quite nice. If Obito knew we did it on purpose, maybe he would blame us, Minato said again. Minato, the awakening of Mangekyō Sharingan is not that simple, even if there are other methods. It will change Obito's abilities. Uchiha Kagami said calmly, since Madara is willing to help us, it's the best thing, but Obito is a child with a simple mind and loves Lin more than anything else, even if he can be resurrected in the future. This child may not be looking towards Konoha anymore. Whether he chooses to return as Konoha's hero or choose to escape reality all depends on his own inner choice. Obito is an extremely innocent child, especially before he went dark. Apart from his poor academic performance, he was positive, warm and reliable, and he was also willing to help others. Almost the same character as Naruto. But the more Uchiha behaves like this, the more he refuses to listen. Even though Obito knew that Rin was voluntarily bumping into Kakashi's Chidori in order to prevent the Three Tails from going on a rampage in Konoha village. But he still went all the way to the dark side with Madara. And then in the battle between Six Paths and Naruto Sasuke, he seemed to be infected by Naruto's mouth escape, and regretted that he had returned to Konoha. Perhaps, we'll be the Hokage, take a different path. But there is no regret medicine in life, but now at least there is a chance. Kagami can only save it as much as possible, for the sake of being Obito's elder. As for why, not telling Obito the truth about Lin being framed by Madara. The reason is also very simple. Telling him in advance may prevent Obito from awakening Mangekyō, and may also cause Kamui to change into other abilities. Hill Tomb. In the underground space, Uchiha Madara sits on a chair. When he heard what the other party called himself, Obito immediately laughed. You said you were Uchiha Madara? The ancestor of my Uchiha clan? Are you kidding me? Uchiha Madara has been dead for many years. Even a kid like me knows that you died fighting the first Hokage. Do you think I am an idiot? Uchiha Madara smiled proudly. I was indeed defeated by Hashirama in the battle at the Valley of the End, but I had expected it. So I used the transfer seal to set Izanagi on my right eye in advance. I have tampered with reality and been resurrected, but even so, I am not far from death. If the Geto statue behind me had not provided me with life force, you, a junior, would not have had the chance to be rescued by me. Tampering with reality and resurrecting it? Are you kidding me? Advertisement, I don't believe there is such a technique. I want to go back. Kakashi, Lin, teacher, and Uncle Jing are all waiting for me to go back. Obito gritted his teeth and fell off the bed. He moved his body with difficulty with his chin, looking very embarrassed. Uchiha Madara reminded, you'd better save some energy. You can't get out of here with your body. Besides, it's best not to move. The Hashirama cell half you just sewed on can easily fall off. I finally saved you, but don't beg to die in a hurry. Obito's eyes widened and he shouted angrily. What are your intentions? You stinky old man, why are you arresting a kid like me? I want to cut off the cause and effect in this world. Create a world of only peace and love, Madara said. Then go ahead and kill him, it's none of my business. Obito said hysterically. I just want to return to Konoha and my companions now. If I don't go back, teacher and the others will worry about me, and the idiot Kakashi, Lin. I want to go back to protect her. Then you can die casually, but I will keep your right eye, Madara said nonchalantly. What do you want my eyes for? Don't you have your own Sharingan? Why do you want mine? Obito asked. No, this is not my Sharingan. Uchiha Madara brushed her long hair away, revealing one empty eye socket. My eyes were originally placed on another kid, and this one was later transplanted with someone else's extra Sharingan, but it's not a bad thing to have more reserves. It just so happens that the right eye is not in good condition either. You may not know that Sharingan needs two of them to exert its true power. Obito heard this and understood. It seems that as long as I go back and be with Kakashi, if he can unleash the full power of these Sharingans, then he won't be able to stay here anymore and must go back as soon as possible. But now I can't move my body. You still need to pretend, at least recover first. Then two white creatures came to help him with his rehabilitation training. One was Afe with a swirling face, and the other had several barbs on his crotch. I don't know how much time passed, but Obito gradually recovered. The temporarily missing half of his body has completely grown back, and he is now able to walk without any mobility impairment. And Madara was sitting in a chair, seemingly falling into a deep sleep. In order to obtain information, Obito pretended not to care and asked, what did Madara just say? To cut off the cause and effect in the world. What does it mean? Afe said seriously. In short, it means to abandon the ugliness in reality and escape into a dream where there is only beauty, because in dreams, everything can be done as you wish, even if the dead are resurrected. Actually, to put it bluntly, it is to use a super large illusion to create a dream, allowing people all over the world to enter it and indulge in happiness for a lifetime. This creates an ideal world with only peace. It's such a ridiculous idea, I can't understand it. Obito shook his head, but I don't think he can do it. Madara is almost too old to be human, so she still has the heart to do this? No, as long as Madara-sama can do it. Afe said seriously. But he is indeed too weak now, and there are also individual threats from the outside that need to be eradicated, so some extra preparations are needed. It has nothing to do with me. Obito didn't bother to tell him. He is almost recovered now and will leave when the time is right. But, the next day, at night, Barb White Zetsu came out of the wall and said anxiously, "Oh no, Lin and Kakashi you mentioned before seem to be in danger. They are surrounded by many Kirigakure ninjas and there is no way they can escape." Chapter 72 This is hell. I want to create a world with only Lin. Advertisement. What? I'm going to save them right now. Obito suddenly became anxious. He punched the huge rock blocking the door. But his body was too fragile to break such a large rock, and his white right arm broke directly. Damn it. How could this happen? Obito said anxiously. I must protect Lin and Kakashi, and I must not let them be in danger. Your current body is not strong enough to destroy rocks. Use my body. A phase body opens into a Shikai body. It turned into a vortex and enveloped Obito. Only the right eye of Sharingan was exposed. Obito looked anxious and said, "Aren't you Madara's best? Does this really don't matter?" "It's okay, you're a good boy. Thank you." Obito no longer hesitated. "Feel the power spurting out of your fist." He immediately punched it out, and the huge rock immediately cracked. Madara seemed to be awakened by the movement, and just looked at Obito's back quietly without stopping him. "Are you leaving?" "Thank you for saving me, but I have to go." "It's too early to say thank you. I'll wait for you to come back, Obito." "Sorry, I probably won't come back. I have to leave and can't delay any longer." Obito glanced around. Many weapons were found hanging on the walls. Several huge shurikens, 2 ninja swords and a sickle. But the weird thing is that there seems to be an empty space in the middle. There are 3 black robes hanging on the left. He took one piece of clothing and turned around and left. Obito's steps were fast and he was galloping all the way. "How is the situation now? Tell us in detail." According to the White Zetsu's report, Lin and Kakashi were surrounded by dozens of people. It seems that they are all Jonin and Anbu from Kirigakure. Each of them is very skilled, Afe said. "Where are the teacher and Uncle Mirror? I mean, Red Flash, and Yellow Flash, why didn't they go to support Kakashi? They all seem delayed by other tasks. Damn it, this is the time." Obito gritted his teeth in his heart and said, "Kakashi, we have made an agreement to protect Lin no matter what. You can't make a mistake. Hurry up, I'll be there soon." He was getting closer to his destination. But as he got closer, he seemed to see an illusion in his right eye. That was the way Lin looked at him with blood spilling from the corner of her mouth, her eyes filled with deathly silence and loneliness. "Hey, my eyes hurt so much. At this time, don't give me any illusions. I'll be here soon. Lin, wait for me. Just a little bit closer, just a little bit closer, just catch me up." Obito's heart skipped a beat. After walking through the jungle, I saw a scene that I will never forget. Kakashi's Chidori penetrated Rin's heart. Rin's eyes were filled with tears and deathly silence, while blood spurted out of her mouth. The whole person fell to the ground, completely lifeless. No, I don't accept it, this is hell. Obito roared madly. The swirling white Zetsu began to gather together. The 2 Magatama Sharingan stuck together and then spun into 3 Magatama, which transformed into a windmill again. Wooden thorns were drilled out of the right side of Obito's body. And Kakashi also fainted because the chakra was exhausted, and there was no movement again. "Who? Reinforcements? He's just a little brat. If you dare to support me alone, you're really looking for death. Everyone come together and kill him." Advertisement. Kirigakure Anbu discovered him. He immediately looked contemptuous and raised his hand to throw out a large shuriken. Phew. Whoosh. However, the shuriken penetrated the body. It didn't cause any harm to him at all, and his whole body was like nothingness. But those idiots Mist Shinobi didn't understand it at all. They looked confused and wary. They thought the enemy was hiding. Poof. Obito dashes forward, raising his hand to pierce the enemy. At the same time as the wooden thorns exploded, 3 Anbu jumped down and stabbed Obito fiercely with their Chunin knives. The next second, it was penetrated, directly kill enemies on the ground by mistake. And Obito jumped up and kicked the 2 Anbu to death. Then he punched an angry hammer, smashing the head of the last Anbu into pieces. Although he died, he still couldn't understand his hatred. One foot after another kept stepping on his body. Mist Shinobi Anbu also discovered that the enemy was difficult and immediately changed his strategy. What's going on with this guy? What kind of strange move is this? Why is the attack ineffective? Quick! At least recover 3 Tails Jinchuriki's body and never give it to the enemy. However, this sentence only stimulated Obito. He rushed straight towards Lin, letting the opponent's blade fall. Under Kamui's influence, he was still unscathed. But he is too far away after all. Seeing that Mist Shinobi Anbu was about to blaspheme Lin, Obito threw out a branch. Bang! The moment the branch penetrated, it exploded. While the other Mist Shinobi Anbu was stunned, Obito threw him to the ground with a tight fist and punched him in the face. The enemy's mask had long been shattered, and his face was bloody. The dead can no longer die. This scene frightened everyone in Mist Shinobi. Too strong. The enemy in front of him was simply unbelievable. Any attack is ineffective against him, he is like a ghost. Everyone in Kirigakure then thought of retreating, but it was too late. Countless branches and vines sprouted from Obito's right side. Click. Click. The vines are intertwined and constantly rewinding. It penetrated or crushed all the enemies, leaving their corpses hanging in the air. Broken limbs and broken legs were everywhere, and blood dripped from the rolled-up vines and branches, dyeing the earth red and reflecting the red blood moon. Obito stumbled over. He touched Lin's face with his hands, looking sad. The blood on his right eye was like blood and tears. The sad Obito held Lin's body and let out a desperate roar and unwillingness. Sorry, I am late. Lin, you have suffered. I want to cut off the cause and effect in this world, and I want to create a world with only Lin. At first he didn't understand, but now he understands. Although the dream world is false, at least Lin does not have to endure such pain. However, someone appeared in front of him. Black hair, red laminated armor, and a flame fan on his back. Uchiha Kagami looked at the boy in front of him and said calmly, "But will such a false world really be what you want? There is no shame in escaping reality temporarily, but if you keep escaping from reality. When I resurrect Lin in the future, how will you face her? Boy, you don't want to be looked down upon by her, do you?" Chapter 73 Uchiha Kagami. Obito, aren't you awake yet? Advertisement? Uncle Jing. Obito looked up and said with tears streaming down his face. Resurrection? Do you mean Konoha's impure world reincarnation troops? I know those people. Have no sense of taste or pain, and are hardly considered normal humans. Instead of doing this, it's better to create a false world. I don't want Lin to suffer that kind of pain. No, I'm talking about real resurrection, Jing corrected. Is there still such a technique? Named Rinne Tensei technique, of course, capable of resurrecting the dead at the cost of their own lives. But this world is so cruel, why let Lin suffer again? Uchiha Kagami seemed to have expected it. It seems that you still think that Lin's death is the fault of the world, rather than the fault of a certain person? Isn't it? This world is always at war, and hatred keeps breeding new hatred and never stops. Obito seemed to agree with Madara's idea. It is also this kind of world that has caused Lin to suffer so much. It is better to cut off the cause and effect and create a false world. Maybe people have lost their freedom, but at least the world is at peace, right? Not really. Uchiha Kagami shook his head and said, the cause and effect in the world is not so easy to cut off, nor can a mere illusion bring peace to the world. And you think that Lin's death is the world's fault, which is even more wrong. What went wrong? Obito asked. Uchiha Kagami was silent for a moment and said, Lin's death was actually Uchiha Madara's fault. What? As soon as these words came out, Obito was stunned for a moment. As for Afei, who was rapping Obito, his heart suddenly skipped a beat. No, how did he know? No, this is definitely a fool's errand. Afei didn't dare to make any further announcements, so he could only continue to eavesdrop quietly. Uncle Jing, you said it was Madara's fault? Why do you say that? Obito was a little confused. Although the old man was a bit verbose, he still saved me, and his subordinates also discovered that Kakashi and Lin were in crisis, so I rushed over. Did you misunderstand something? Already? There is no misunderstanding, Madara saved you just to use you. Uchiha Kagami said slowly. During the Second Ninja War, Second Hokage Senju Tobirama, it was also my second brother who noticed that there was something wrong with Kirigakure. So he sent me to infiltrate to investigate and met Madara's clone. He controlled the third Mizukage with Sharingan, and then controlled the entire Kirigakure with the blood mist policy, but that was more than 10 years ago. After many years, his lifespan has almost reached its limit. So a puppet is needed to help him execute Project Tsuki no Mi, which is the so-called ultimate illusion, Infinite Tsukuyomi. The prerequisite for completing Infinite Tsukuyomi is to collect all the tailed beasts, so the Mangekyō Sharingan must be used. And he chose you, a good Uchiha boy who loves the village and his companions. Once the person he likes dies, he will definitely fall into darkness, and become his agent to complete the plan, so. He used Kirigakure's ninjas to kidnap Rin, and implanted 3 tails in her, trying to attack Konoha with tailed beasts. But in fact this was just a superficial plan. The real plan was that he deliberately manipulated Kirigakure to make Kakashi and Lin as in dire straits. Advertisement. In order to prevent the 3 tails from going rampant and causing trouble in Konoha, Lin took the initiative to crash into Kakashi's Chidori. I think you should be able to tell. Lin's death was entirely of her own free will, but all of this was done by Madara to make you fall. Dark and designed conspiracy. Obito, aren't you awake yet? Me. Obito lowered his head. His eyes were full of anger and regret. He is not a fool. He can clearly know that there is a talisman in his heart. This talisman cannot be destroyed by one's own power. The talisman can only be destroyed by external force, and Lin thought that she was also controlled by such a talisman. As a last resort, he chose death. All of these. All guided by Madara. He was so stupid, he actually thought Madara was doing it for his own good. But Uchiha Kagami hadn't finished speaking yet, and continued to remind the boy in front of him. As for why Madara chose you, it's very simple. You are friendly to people from the bottom of your heart, even passers-by. You are extremely gentle. You have an extremely deep love in your heart. On the other hand, once you fall, your hatred for this world will become even deeper. No matter who it is, even me, Kakashi, or Minato and the others who love you. As long as you are willing to look back, you will be the hero of Konoha. After your teacher succeeds the 4th Hokage, you will be the 5th Hokage. It's also me, the Uchiha clan, the 1st Hokage. Hokage? Something seemed to be budding in Obito's heart. His dream since childhood was to be recognized by others and become the Hokage of Konoha. But Lin's death made him almost forget about this goal. Now it seemed that it was not too late to look back, but he still couldn't make up his mind. He heard what Jing just said. What did you react to? Obito stood up, and the respected elder in front of him asked in an uncertain tone, Uncle Jing, that is to say, you already knew that Madara wanted to deal with Lin, but in order to make me awaken Mangekyō, you always ignored it, is it right? Yes, that's right. Jing did not deny. Why? Why don't you help her? As long as you take action, Lin will be fine. Lin won't have to endure such pain. Looking at Obito's sad look, Jingyu asked quietly, Obito, are you blaming me? Blame me for killing Lin? I didn't. Obito said in a panic. Whether you have it or not, I just want to tell you. Obito, I am just the leader of the Uchiha clan, not the Hokage. Besides, even the Hokage cannot protect everyone in the village. Uchiha Kagami stared at him, and his tone gradually became disappointed. The reason why I came in person is not because of my status as the clan leader, but because of my status as your uncle. I advise you not to go astray, because of personal emotions. Lin, it has nothing to do with me. But she is the person you like, so I can promise you that I will resurrect her in the future. I have no obligation to save her. If it weren't for me, Lin would die, and you would suffer for the rest of your life. You have no right to accuse me. Certainly, it's okay if you don't thank me, and it's okay to blame me. You can even go all the way to the dark side with Uchiha Madara. I don't care what you do, but if you still show no mercy to the teachers, elders, and friends who once loved you, then don't blame me for teaching the children a lesson. After all, they are all people I care about. Chapter 74 Young Hero Obito, Uchiha Madara can't stand it anymore. Advertisement, Uncle Mirror. Obito looked flustered. The whole person became overwhelmed. After all these years of getting along with Jing, he had long regarded Jing as his uncle. Every birthday party was packed with delicious food for him, and he cared about his physical condition and love life. Except for Shisui, Uchiha no longer treated him as an outsider. Nowadays, Uncle Jing changed his usual friendly attitude. He became indifferent and even inhumane, which made him a little panicked. But before he could do anything, Uchiha Kagami ignored him and raised his hand to put on his shoulder. I'll take this thing away first. No, Ah-Fei was anxious. It begins to spread throughout the body. He was about to dive towards the ground, but Uchiha Kagami raised his foot and stamped suddenly. Boom! The earth cracked. Powerful chakra swept out. Actually forcing him out of the ground, Ah-Fei gritted his teeth and used the cutting technique. However, he easily avoided the branch that was cutting technique. Uchiha Kagami raised his hand to clasp his neck, and then a flying thunder god disappeared from the spot. The whole process didn't even take a second. Ah-Fei was defeated like this, completely defeated. And on this bloody ground, Obito is left alone. He looked at Lin lying on the ground and Kakashi in a coma, feeling a little dazed and helpless, and also feeling a little lonely. However, not long after, another person appeared. It was Namikaze Minato, who was wearing a Jonin vest. He walked over step by step and stopped the boy in his arms. Teacher, stop talking, I don't blame you, just cry if you want. Woo, Obito howled again. It's no wonder that he was confused and helpless, after all, he was still young. After experiencing such a big change, it was no less than experiencing a death. The girl he liked died tragically in front of him. Everyone will feel confused and at a loss. After venting his emotions, Obito raised his head and looked at the teacher, regretting very much. Did I make Uncle Jing angry? I shouldn't have said that. Uncle Jing is so good to me. It's okay, just apologize. The teacher won't argue with you, Minato said. Really, adults don't argue with children. That's good. Do you also know about Na Lin? Obito asked again. I know that at that time you were buried under rocks and were in danger. In fact, the teacher and I had been hiding in the corner. After confirming that your life was safe and taken away by the White Zetsu, we then felt relieved, Minato explained. Why? Uncle Jing did this. I don't mean to blame him. Oh, teacher. I don't know how to say. Obito hesitated. Namikaze Minato said slowly. I understand, because your Mangekyō ability is very strong. When the crisis in the ninja world comes in the future, you can help the teacher. Crisis in the ninja world? Uchiha Madara? Obito asked curiously. No, it's a bigger crisis than Uchiha Madara. I can't tell you in detail yet. Originally, I didn't agree with the teacher ignoring Lin like this, but since the teacher confessed everything to me. Namikaze Minato sighed leisurely. I chose the same way. I am ashamed of Lin, but over the years I have discovered that the teacher has shouldered more alone. He always shows a kind face to others. But as everyone knows, he looks more sad in private. He worries about the ninja world more than anyone else, and wants peace in the ninja world more than anyone else. Madara's path is wrong. False illusions will make the ninja world worse. Obito. The teacher values you very much. We have more powerful enemies that we need to face. Come back to the village with me. Yes, teacher. Obito nodded. Advertisement. The two then recovered Lin's body. And quickly returned to Konoha village with the unconscious Kakashi. What is unexpected is, the villagers gathered at the door, waiting for Obito's return. Welcome back, boy. It was you and Kakashi who saved Konoha from the Three Tails. Obito, you are the hero of Konoha. Quick, let's welcome our young hero together. Obito looked stunned. Before he could react, he was lifted up by the villagers. Continuously throwing it upwards, Obito smiled and his mood seemed to have improved a lot. Turn out to be, is this what it feels like to be a hero? It feels pretty good too, with an illusion of being airy. Minato looked at his disciple quietly, feeling a little sad in his heart. From now on, except for Uchiha Kagami, Konoha has one more Uchiha tribesman recognized by the people, and this man is the young hero, Uchiha Obito. Hill Tomb. Underground space, elderly Madara sits. Calm and calm, he seems to have no worries that Obito will really leave. In order to make this boy fall into darkness, he almost used most of Kirigakure's Anbu power, in order to avoid being discovered by the mirror. I haven't even used White Zetsu much, just for fear of being noticed by the mirror. After all, according to information from Black Zetsu, although Uchiha Kagami is blind, he seems to have developed a lot of ninjutsu. The combat power is still comparable to that of a super shadow. If he is discovered by the mirror and stops Obito, then the plan will fail. But now it seems that Jing didn't notice it at all. His plan succeeded, and Lin successfully died in front of him, then Obito's darkening is inevitable. As long as the boy comes back and gives a few words of guidance, he can become an excellent chess piece. When the time comes, let Obito control Kirigakure. And secretly coming into contact with the still immature Nagato, so that Nagato gradually steps into the footsteps of darkness, thus preparing for later collecting tailed beasts and resurrecting them with the Rinne Tensai technique. Half of the plan has been completed. Uchiha Madara showed a confident expression. Without the blessing of Mangekyō Sharingan, other ninjutsu, no matter how powerful they are, can't deal with me. How can the light of fireflies compete with the bright moon? The only one who can stop me is Hashirama, but unfortunately Hashirama is already dead, haha. However, the next second, Black Zetsu emerged. Looking extremely flustered, he reported to Uchiha Madara. No. Madara-sama. Obito was taken away by Mirror and Minato. What? Uchiha Madara's expression changed, and she said in a deep voice. What's going on? Isn't Lin dead? Obito has awakened Mangekyō. Even if Minato and Kagami are strong, they can't keep Obito. How can they take him away by force? No, Obito left voluntarily. Black Zetsu said. Ah, why? Lin died in front of Obito, even if he could see that it was Lin's choice. Uchiha Madara couldn't stand it any longer and asked eagerly, but shouldn't we have fallen into darkness? Why did we return to Konoha voluntarily? What was the oversight in the plan? There were no omissions in the plan. Black Zetsu said with a difficult expression. But I don't know why. Kage has seen through your plan a long time ago. He identified on the spot that you controlled Miss Shinobi Anbu and caused Lin's death. Therefore, Obito returned to Konoha village voluntarily. Uchiha Madara. Circle.operator O circle.operator, Chapter 75. Don't let me betray a Fae. Advertisement, no. Why should he? Uchiha Madara couldn't hold back. Why did he identify me? Even if he knew that I was behind it, how could he know my detailed plan? You know, I have been planning this plan for a long time. Even if Uchiha Kagami suspects me, the Uchiha family has been in the Uchiha family for so many years. Why is he so sure that Obito is his target? I don't know, Madara-sama, Black Zetsu said helplessly. Wait, something's wrong, Black Zetsu, think about it. I gave the order directly as third Mizukage for this plan. Even Miss Shinobi internally just felt that this was a tailed beast attack plan against Konoha. Uchiha Madara looked slightly condensed and said, there are not many people who know the details of the real plan. There are only two of you, me and a Fae, so, there's a spy? Did the plan leak to Shangjing? Madara-sama, I am your will, of course I will not leak the secret, Black Zetsu said cheekily. Then there's only White Zetsu. Uchiha Madara looked away. On the old face, those sinister eyes were full of oppression. White Zetsu, who had barbs on his crotch, immediately gave in and said, it's not me, Madara-sama, I hardly go out. How could I be the one who leaked the information? Besides, it's not good for me to cooperate with Mirror. Then who do you think it will be? Madara asked. Ah Fae, it must be Ah Fae. A Fae. No, even if the Mirror's Mangekyō can be used. A Fae doesn't even have eyes, so there's no way he can torture out the information. That's not me, Madara-sama, my subordinates have always been loyal. Barb White Zetsu lamented, it's really not me who leaked the secret, please believe me in my loyalty to you. Haha, loyalty? Don't talk about this kind of thing. Uchiha Madara said disdainfully. Loyalty is just a bargaining chip for betrayal. You cowardly White Zetsu. The reason why you dare not betray is simply that you think the mirror is not enough to compare with me. Master Madara, maybe there is no mole. Black Zetsu thought for a moment and said, Mirror can see through White Zetsu's mayfly technique. They were once discovered spying on Obito. Perhaps it was exposed in this way that made Jing suspicious of Obito, and thus set up the Flying Thunder God to persuade Obito. And Uchiha Kagami clearly knew that your goal was to stimulate Obito to fall into darkness with Lin, but you deliberately did not rescue Lin. It seems that you deliberately used your hand to help Obito awaken the Mangekyō Sharingan. How can it be repaired? Abominable. Uchiha Madara was angry for the first time in a long time. He touched his chin and thought, Uchiha Kagami, this junior is so insidious. He even took advantage of me. No, this kind of conspiracy. How come he is so familiar? His middle brother is Senju Tobirama. Suga, damn Tobirama, bring trouble to my Uchiha clan. Uchiha Madara angrily cursed. I killed Izuna, and now I won't even spare the most outstanding talent of my Uchiha clan today. After I am resurrected, I will definitely dig his grave. Madara-sama, please calm down, what should we do now? Black Zetsu said cautiously. What should I do? Obito has failed, so we can only attack that brat Nagato. No matter what, there can be no obstacles to my resurrection. Uchiha Madara said harshly. Uchiha Kagami, this young man, I have tolerated him too much, and I will never let him ruin my resurrection plan again, so before I can deal with Nagato, I must get rid of him first. But, hearing this, Black Zetsu worriedly asked, Madara-sama, can your body still hold on? The last battle between you and Cage was already too much wear and tear. If you create another clone, I'm afraid your lifespan will be running out. Advertisement Uchiha Madara said with a faint smile. There is no need for me to take action personally. Uchiha Kagami has lost Mangekyō. There is no threat at all. I will arrange everything. This time, he is definitely dead. What about Afei? He was captured alive by the mirror. Black Zetsu asked again. Uchiha Madara said nonchalantly. Leave him alone if he fails to achieve anything but fails. He is different from other white Zetsu. He will definitely not rebel. Then who will Nagato send to contact you? The original plan was to have Obito disguise you, but now it seems that the person needs to be changed, Black Zetsu said. Uchiha Madara pondered for a moment and said, then let's use the waste. Didn't Faye save someone not long ago? Just send him there. That kid hates the mirror. I believe he can do this well. Konoha village. Uchiha tribe land. Uchiha Kagami carried Afei back home. Afei had a look of panic on his face. He had no idea what the other party was going to do to him. He also wanted to try to escape, but there was no way. Don't even think about escaping, you can't leave, Uchiha Kagami said. Afei said very bluntly. What are you going to do? Are you planning to instigate me? Let me tell you, it is impossible for me to betray Lord Madara. Even if you let me feel free, I will never betray Lord Madara. Are you white Zetsu? Also loyal? Uchiha Kagami smiled softly. No, you are all greedy for life and afraid of death, and you are not the same as most white Zetsu. I am very curious about your choice. In my opinion, the so-called loyalty it's just that there are not enough ships for betrayal. The reason why you dare not betray is because you think I am too weak now. How can I compete with Madara if Mangekyō Sharingan is gone? So, it is impossible for you to help me, right? Afei rolled his eyes. What else? Madara-sama's strength is not something you can guess. I advise you to spend less time on me. What if I tell you that my Mangekyō is not blind? What? Afei was shocked. I didn't believe it at first, but it was soon confirmed. I saw that the dark eyes in the mirror turned into barbed windmills, and the bright eyes showed no sign of fatigue, let alone blindness. And looking at the eyes in front of me, he seemed to notice that his eyes seemed to have a different shape than before. There was a triangular rhombus in the middle, and he instinctively noticed that Mirror's body had an even more amazing vitality than White Zetsu. How is this possible? Afei was stunned and coughed. Your eyes are not blind. Are you deliberately spreading false news? Are you waiting for us to be fooled? Damn it, sure enough, you Uchiha clan have dirty hearts. Ahem, I didn't say Madara-sama, I just you. So, what are your thoughts now? Uchiha Kagami asked with a smile. No, I still won't betray Madara-sama, even if your Mangekyō is still there. But Madara-sama is very strong, and you will not be his opponent. I advise you to give up on this idea. Afei said righteously. I, Afei, belong to Master Madara in life and will be Master Madara's ghost in death. Don't ever want me to betray him. Chapter 76 The enemy sneaks in. This guy is definitely not a good person. Advertisement, and you ruined Madara-sama's plan this time. Madara-sama will definitely find a way to get rid of you. This time it will definitely be with thunderous means. Tisk tisk, it won't be long before you will be unable to protect yourself. Really? How about we make a bet? Jing said with a smile. What are you betting on? Afei asked. Just bet that Madara can't kill me, if I win. I won't ask you to do much, just help Obito. His body is still very fragile and he can easily have problems without your protection. How about that? Uchiha Kagami dares to reveal Mangekyō. In fact, I'm not worried about Afei leaking it at all, or it doesn't matter even if Madara knows. With his current strength, even if Uchiha Madara is resurrected, as long as he does not become Ten Tails Jinchuriki, he will not be afraid at all. And he, Uchiha Madara, cannot be resurrected yet at least. Nagato has grown a lot now, but not enough to use the Rinne Tensei technique. Even when Impure World Reincarnation was resurrected, he was still in an old state. You must know that in the original work, he was young, but it was actually Kabuto who transformed Impure World Reincarnation. But now Kabuto is only about 5 years old. As long as Madara doesn't go out to play with him personally, then no matter what conspiracy or trick is, there is no threat, and there is no possibility of overturning. Then I agree. Afei thought for a moment and asked, what if Madara-sama sends White Zetsu to find me? I've obviously gained my freedom, but I'm still unwilling to go back, so I will definitely be suspected. You just need to bring the news back and say that I wanted to instigate you, but you pretended to surrender. But you were actually lying in wait around me to steal information. Uchiha Kagami said with a faint smile. Anyway, you haven't really surrendered to me now. You can report my recent movements to Madara. If possible, you can also inform me of Madara's movements. Then am I becoming a double agent? It can be said like this. Oh, I got it. Afei didn't object either. Anyway, he is not optimistic about Uchiha Kagami. But the other party is now the only one who can compete with Uchiha Madara, and he has also prevented Madara from blackening Obito, so he cannot ignore it. In this case, then he might as well bet on both sides. I, Fei, can be Madara's spy or Mirror's spy, jumping back and forth repeatedly. In a game between big people, the little people will be affected. This is the same as war. Faye, will fall to whoever wins. Hey, Faye smiled inwardly. I'm really a clever guy. There are so many people in Konoha village and there are a lot of latrines. I can study poop to my heart's content. Rain Shinobi village. Pitter patter, clatter. Just let all this heavy rain fall, this village will be very humid. But for the people of Rain Shinobi village, they have long been used to it. Moreover, the drainage system of this village is very developed, and the tall metal buildings can reveal the industrial level of this village. Since Yahiko Nagato and the others came to power, the Akatsuki organization has been constantly running around the ninja world, earning a lot of money, reasonably and legally. Rain Shinobi village is also gradually growing. Although it is still not as good as the Great Ninja Village, it has gradually shown a trend of development. Advertisement as the reputation of the Akatsuki organization grows, the Nagato trio have gained their own reputation as the top leaders of the new Rain Shinobi village. On top of the huge tower, Conan is sorting out the finances and Yahiko is handling official documents. Nagato knows nothing about it, but fortunately he is much stronger than Yahiko and Conan. After years of teaching by his teacher, chakra has also grown a lot. Use the Rain Tiger Free technique to effectively prevent enemy invasion. Nagato stood on the tip of the tower giant statue, looking at the pattering raindrops in front of him, and couldn't help but sigh. I never thought that I would be able to become a high-ranking person in Rain Shinobi village, and that I would be able to become the leader of the Akatsuki organization. I have to thank my teacher for this. Then why don't you go to Konoha to visit the teacher? Yahiko raised his head and asked. You know the reason. Nagato hesitated. Because the ninjas of Konoha village killed your parents? Nagato. Originally, during Second Hokage's tenure, most of our Rain Shinobi village's trade had to be cut by 70%, but the teacher didn't care at all. Yahiko frowned. Not only did he not lie to us, but he also did not let Konoha control Rain Shinobi village. Even when the teacher cooperated with us, he won the Third Raikage's 200 million employment order, but he didn't take any points. I know you were hostile to Konoha, but the teacher is very kind to us. If the teacher hadn't helped us war orphans might have died at a certain joint, even if you didn't want to go. You have to go to the teacher's birthday party, right? Even in disguise, it's okay. When Conan and I went to the teacher's birthday party last time, he asked me again if you would come. I said you were unavailable, but the teacher also forgives you. It's really bad what you did, Nagato. I know. Nagato and the others didn't listen, but Yahiko's words were still understandable. Then I will go to the teacher's birthday party next year. I haven't gone to the teacher's birthday party for so many years. It's a bad etiquette on my part. That's good, that's right, you are indeed my good brother. Yahiko stood up. He showed a hearty smile and patted his shoulder. But Conan glanced at the two of them, and his beautiful eyes suddenly rolled. Shut up, I'm settling the accounts. If tens of millions are missed in the account later, you two go out and get me some more orders? Ahem, I actually always feel that this is a bit like a scam. If our relationship with the teacher is exposed, I'm worried that the 5 major ninja villages will explode with anger, Yahiko said awkwardly. Where is the fraud? It's legitimate to make money. How can it be a fraud? The teacher is responsible for catching people, and we are responsible for releasing them. Conan said righteously. Come back and forth, you have to pay for some travel expenses, right? This is war, and not killing people is already very kind. Yeah, you're right. Nagato and Yahiko looked at each other. He didn't choose to be stubborn anymore, and bowed his head silently. As Conan was in charge of finance, they didn't dare to refute it. After all, Conan approved the funds for their activities. Every money spent on honoring teachers must be reported. If you really piss off Conan, I won't give you a dime. Just go ahead and cry. However, Conan didn't wait for anything to say. Suddenly, Nagato's eyes tightened and his brows furrowed slightly. Someone sneaked into the village, and he blocked my rain. This person's chakra amount is amazing, but the ingredients are very mixed. The distance is too far, and my perception is a bit blurry. Is he a familiar person? Yahiko asked. Nagato shook his head, changed his words and said firmly, no, he is not a familiar person. His chakra gives me a very dark feeling. I think so, this guy is definitely not a good person. Chapter 77 Shimura Danzo, are nothing but the lost dog of the ninja world. Advertisement, a bad guy. What should we do now? Should we send someone to notify the teacher? Conan asked cautiously. Do you need it? What are you afraid of with Nagato? Yahiko said confidently. I'd better inform you that although I have opened my eyes, I am still young after all, and have not yet mastered the true power of Rinnegan. Nagato thought for a moment and said, although that person may not be able to beat me, but no one knows whether there is backup, so we should be cautious. Okay, then it's up to you, but before that, I'll meet this person first and see what his purpose is in sneaking into the village. Yahiko showed a calm smile. As the new leader of Rain Shinobi village, his strength may not be as strong as Nagato. But his personal charisma made him very confident, especially after being taught by Uchiha Kagami. His thinking has completely transformed. He is no longer the idealist he was before. The prerequisite for peace is force. Without force, any peace negotiation is a paper tiger, and Nagato, as the owner of Rinnegan. When you grow up in the future, you will be the savior of peace. And the Akatsuki organization, this is the well-deserved savior organization. And the person who sneaked in was obviously not a good person. If he really posed a threat to them, Yahiko would kill him mercilessly. Not long after, the three of them arrived at the outskirts of Rain Shinobi village. This is the sea outside Rain Shinobi village. In the original novel, Jiraiya died here, and his body sank into the sea, ultimately failing to impure world reincarnation. Above the sea, 3 people stood facing the wind. They all wore red cloud robes and Rain Shinobi village protectors. There were 2 people standing directly opposite. One of them had a weird shape. Although he was a humanoid creature, he had barbs growing on his crotch. The other guy looked like a normal person, wearing a black robe and a black mask on his face. The masked man lowered his lips. I didn't expect to be discovered. You 3 brats are quite capable. Who are you? Nagato asked. I am Uchiha Madara. Madara? Haha. Do you really think of us as 3-year-old children? Although we have never met Uchiha Madara, we have heard the teacher mention this person. This legendary figure is a very arrogant person. Yahiko couldn't help but sneer. You can't be as sneaky as you, and your chakra is so dark. You and I are Uchiha Madara? Haha, if you are really Uchiha Madara, I am Senju Hashirama. You. The masked man suddenly turned pale and said, even if I am not Madara like Uchiha, my status is nobler than yours. You brats who are just inexperienced in Shounen village, show some respect to me. Really? Then who are you, if you have the ability to take off the mask? Yahiko sneered. Okay, do you think I dare not? The man's temper was unbearable. He took off the mask directly and revealed his original appearance. His right eye and head were bandaged, his eyes were very gloomy and cold, and there was an X-shaped scar on his chin. If he asked you to take off your mask, why don't you take it off, when your true face is exposed? Are you afraid that Uchiha Kagami will come and kill you? Are you an idiot? Advertisement White Zetsu beside him was speechless for a moment. Madara-sama clearly asked him to use Madara's name to contact Nagato. And used words to induce the other party, but the old Biden couldn't stand the stimulation and took off the mask directly. You are like this. What are you using to fool Nagato? Is there something wrong with this guy's brain? However, Shimura Danzo did not listen to the advice, and his expression became more and more gloomy. I don't need you to teach me what to do. Aren't they just 3 brats? I can take them down casually. As for Uchiha Kagami, he doesn't even have Mangekyō anymore, so what can he use to kill me? If he dares to come, I will kill him in seconds. It can be regarded as revenge for deceiving me back then. White Zetsu stopped talking. Seeing the other party's true face, Yahiko was slightly surprised and said, Shimura Danzo, Sensei's former colleague, why did you come to my Rain Shinobi village? Of course I am here to give you a clear path. You are just ninjas from the little Shinobi village. You are not enough to compete with the great ninja village. This is a time of war. Rain Shinobi village may be destroyed at any time. Shimura Danzo vowed, as long as you work with me, I can accept you as Konoha in the future and make you a part of Konoha. How about it? This kind of honor is not given casually. Well, Yahiko looked strange. Ignoring other things, it seems that you are a traitor to ninja, right? How do you give us the so-called identity of Konoha? Shimura Danzo immediately retorted, I'm not a traitor, I'm from Konoha, but that damn guy Uchiha Kagami. You insulted my teacher? Yahiko's tone gradually became colder. No, I didn't. It was those hateful Konoha senior officials who misunderstood me. I have always been for the good of Konoha. I will return to Konoha sooner or later. When the time comes. It is not very simple to give you a Konoha identity. In order not to ruin Madara's plan, Shimura Danzo could only swallow his anger and refrain from verbal insults for the time being. However, Yahiko looked at the other party and couldn't help but sneered. Danzo, you can't just go back to Konoha if you want. Besides, do you really think we care about this? You big countries are always aloof and rely on charity to gain gratitude? And the teacher will never look down on us in this way. He is willing to support us Rain Shinobi village to become a great ninja village. You Danzo, why do you compare with my teacher? Haha. You are just a rebellious ninja. You are nothing more than a lost dog in the ninja world. You can't even compare to the hair on my teacher's toes. Presumptuous. Danzo was angry. How dare you humiliate me like this? Yahiko pointed at him unceremoniously and said in a disdainful tone. You are so presumptuous that you dare to humiliate my teacher. Even if you die 10 times, Nagato, go. Leave it to me. Nagato stood up. Rinnegan glared, and the turbulent chakra waves dispersed. The surrounding sea water is constantly undulating, and the momentum is very powerful. White Zetsu's pupils on the side tightened, and he was shocked. How is it possible? His Rinnegan has opened his eyes. This chakra is very strong. Logically speaking. At least it needs strong mental stimulation like Obito. How did Nagato do it? Did Uchiha Kagami do it? This guy really shouldn't be underestimated. It's a pity. Even if Danzo has the secret technique taught by Madara and that arm, I'm afraid it won't be that easy to win. P.S. Eye-opening is what the comics call it. In fact, it is the Rinnegan's power awakening that requires mental stimulation. But after all, Nagato has Madara's eyes transplanted. In fact, logically speaking, it is not the same as Obito. I think gradual mental stimulation is also possible, as long as the frequency is more, and everyone can treat it as a secondary design. Chapter 78 Nagato. Old thief Danzo, are you sweating now? Advertisement White Zetsu sighed a few words. Not daring to stay any longer, they left the center of the combat range. And Shimura Danzo immediately started to take action. While chakra was mobilized, he opened Yin Dao's small mouth. Biu, 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 wind-style vacuum waves, a series of sharp air blades. They were like bullets, heading straight for Nagato's face. Nagato is very agile, he can easily avoid it by dodging several times in a row, and he raises his palm to aim at the enemy. Universal pull. What is this? My body doesn't obey its orders. Shimura Danzo's whole body was rolled back. A huge attraction burst out, making his actions completely out of control. But he is not an ordinary ninja after all. Even if his actions are out of control, he can still form seals. He formed the 3 seals of Mao, Hai and Wei in succession. A strange chakra wave spread out, and he was sucked towards the target. The sharp black rod came out of Nagato's right sleeve, and he raised his hand to pierce Danzo's abdomen, causing blood to spurt out. Plop. The body falls to the ground and Danzo appears to be dead. Yahiko immediately praised. As expected of Nagato, you solved this old guy with one move. The teacher will be happy for you. But Nagato instinctively sensed something was wrong, and frowned and became alert. No, this guy is not dead yet, his chakra flows in a different direction. Did he cast some kind of magic? Not dead? Careful, Nagato, behind you. Yahiko looked confused. Then the body found on the sea turned into nothing and disappeared. And Shimura Danzo didn't know when he reappeared behind Nagato, his lips slightly opened again. Wind-style vacuum sphere. Want to sneak attack me? Haha. Nagato sneered. Quickly turning around, he also performed this move. The scale of this move was even more astonishing than the opponent's. It not only defeated all the wind blades, but also covered them with undiminished power. Shimura Danzo staggered away, before I could react. Nagato used his ninjutsu again, and a large fire surged in front of him, as big as a sea of fire. This is fire-style extinguishing fire. Seeing the flames raging from the sky, he raised his hand and pressed it to the ground. Summoning technique. Smoke billowed out. A huge dream taper beast appeared. He opened his big mouth and took the initiative to swallow the flames, but because of the burning of the flames, it quickly disappeared. Shimura Danzo stared at Nagato, his face gradually becoming ugly. You brat. You not only know my wind style, but also fire style. Where did you learn so many advanced ninjutsu? Of course you are my teacher, I know more than you think. B********* the Uchiha Kagami, Rain Shinobi village is the enemy. He gave you so many advanced ninjutsu, it's no different from rebelling against the village. Shimura Danzo suddenly became hysterical and said, sure enough, under the control of Uchiha Kagami, Konoha will only gradually decline. Only I, Danzo, am the future of Konoha. You are all enemies of Konoha. I will eradicate you here. Eradicate Nima. White Zetsu feels like he's going crazy. Advertisement. Nagato has Madara's Rinnegan and wants to subdue the opponent to cast Rinne Tensai. If you step on your horse and kill Nagato right here, if the Rinnegan is also destroyed, then you have done a great sin. Knew it, this Shimura Danzo only cares about Konoha. There's no way he could be a normal collaborator, but as a White Zetsu his combat power is limited and there's no way he can stop Danzo. In full view of everyone, Danzo took off the bandage on his right arm. Scarlet-red Sharingans were exposed, and they were constantly turning and looked very ferocious. There were only 3 in number. And one of them has been closed and used for the loss just now. Nagato's pupils narrowed and his eyes were cold as he said, it is indeed Izanagi. I heard about it from my teacher. But this kind of technology is not something you can do, right? Even if you don't have high-end technology behind the scenes, you can't do it. Could it be that you and Orochimaru were partnering up? If Orochimaru is really doing something behind his back, I will ask Mr. Kagami to get rid of Orochimaru. Shimura Danzo said with a grin. Haha, I would like to, but Orochimaru is afraid of the mirror and is unwilling to cooperate with me. Konoha village has a mirror watching White Zetsu and cannot sneak in. But fortunately Orochimaru has done experiments in Rain Shinobi village before, White Zetsu stole it. This is one of the failures, but I, who also have Hashirama cells, can fully control Sharingan. Originally, I wanted to control 9 tails to defeat Uchiha Kagami, but since you are in the way. Then I'll give you a ride. I hope you don't blame me, I'm doing this for Konoha and for the peace of the ninja world. Hypocrisy. For Konoha? For peace in the ninja world? You are just a sinister villain with selfish desires. No wonder the teacher has always looked down upon you. Why do you want to kill me? The teacher spared your life, so today I will take your head as a gift for the next teacher's birthday party. Nagato sneered. He doesn't take the initiative and waits for the other party to find a flaw. As expected, Danzo took action immediately, mobilized a large amount of chakra, and used his special skills. If the wind style just now was like a bullet, then this move was more than 10 times as powerful as before, as amazing as a cannonball. Wind style vacuum Dayama, Hungry Kido sealing Jutsu seal. Nagato didn't even look at it. He opened his hand and sucked in all of wind style. Then he opened his hand and performed universal pull, sucking the opponent's body in, and the big black stick pierced the opponent's abdomen again. Poof! Danzo died again. Already dead for the second time, Sharingan closed too on his right arm. And Shimura Danzo appeared again, holding a kunai in his right hand to cover the chakra, and once again sneaked up from behind. Nagato murmured softly. Asura Road, click, click. I saw 3 mechanical arms drilled out of his neck. One held the opponent's neck tightly, the other restrained the opponent's shuriken, and the last hand kept turning. The mechanical twist turned into a laser cannon, which was placed between his eyebrows. Whoosh! The moment the laser fired, it pierced Danzo's forehead. Danzo is dead, 3 times so far. The 3 Sharingans on his right arm closed their eyes and seemed to be completely exhausted. Danzo's face showed panic and uneasiness. Nagato showed a joking smile. Have you lost all the Sharingan? Danzo, old thief, are you sweating now? No one can save you. If you dare to deal with our Akatsuki organization, you are worthy of death. I will cut you into pieces. Yahiko. Yes, I completely agree with this despicable villain. Conan. No, don't break the body into pieces. Yahiko. Why? Conan. How can you get the bounty for dismembered corpses? Just keep the head. Danzo's bounty is as high as 100 million. It's not easy for the Akatsuki organization to make money, so don't be such a spendthrift. Chapter 79. 4 Elephants Seal. I am Shimura Danzo. Advertisement. Well, Conan, you're right. Yahiko and Nagato looked at each other. After all, he is an S-class rebellious nin, and the 100 million bounty will definitely not be missed. Although the Akatsuki organization's other employment orders are also very profitable, the bounty that comes to your door must not be missed, otherwise it will be too wasteful. Nagato stopped talking nonsense and raised his right hand again. At the same time as the universal pull was activated, he pressed the palm of his left hand on the ground, and a cold cry came from his heart. Summoning technique Yatatori. I saw a huge green bird with a sharp beak. He stabbed Danzo hard, but Danzo was controlled by universal pull and his body was completely unable to dodge. I can only watch death coming. However, Danzo gritted his teeth. Hashirama's right arm began to expand suddenly, wood-style thrusting spear. Jam. Card. As Danzo mobilizes the chakra, the Hashirama cells in his right arm are constantly surging. In the blink of an eye, a huge tree emerged, causing the Yata bird's attack to barely deviate from its trajectory, and it narrowly escaped death. But the Yata bird also turned into a cloud of smoke and dissipated because it hit the big tree. Shimura Danzo did not hesitate to use Hashirama's right arm, but also used wood style to avoid Yata bird's attack. It seems that this old guy is really at the end of his skills. The next move should be to finish him off. Out of respect for the teacher's former companions, I will use the secret technique of the Muji taught to me by the teacher to end your life. Drink. Chao Big Ball Rasengan. Nagato raised his right hand impressively. No seals are needed, chakra is condensed like crazy. Blue light emitted, a huge chakra ball condensed, and Nagato's body exploded out. And Danzo didn't sit still. He took out a kunai in his right hand and covered it with the remaining chakra. This move was almost his strongest wind style. The two of them had no intention of giving in. The vacuum sword hit the big ball Rasengan straight away. Boom. Boom. A deafening roar resounded. The sea was continually forced back, and the waves rose and fell. The two seemed to be in a stalemate, but before the stalemate lasted for a few seconds, Danzo couldn't hold on any longer. After all, even though he has arms with Hashirama cells. But this was just a clumsy work done by Orochimaru in his spare time when he was spying on Hanzo. It cannot be compared with the open-minded Nagato. Click. Poof. The wind-style vacuum sword was completely destroyed. The kunai also turned into pieces, and the massive Rasengan hit Danzo hard. A huge blood hole was opened in his body. He was motionless and seemed to have fallen into a state of death. It's okay. My body is still intact. I should still be able to collect the bounty. But what's going on with this old guy's right eye? Is it also bandaged? I want to see what he's up to. Nagato stepped forward, feeling quietly relieved. He looked at the corpse up and down, then covered the bandage with his hand. After peeling it off, there was a scarlet 3-tomo Sharingan inside. But, advertisement the next second, Sharingan turned white. Immediately afterwards, Danzo's body also turned into smoke and disappeared. Old thief Danzo still has a Sharingan hidden. This guy's wood style just now really deliberately misled me. Izanagi hasn't released it yet. Nagato's pupils suddenly tightened. He was about to turn around, but his body couldn't move at all. As a result of touching Danzo, his body was covered with black lines, which made his body completely stiff. This is the sealing technique, the seal of the self-karma curse. And just at this moment, half of Danzo's old face was revealed behind Nagato, as well as his sinister laugh. Gia, red-haired kid, you're very smart. But the reaction was too late. I did not hesitate to use Hashirama's right arm to avoid the blow, just to lower your vigilance. Your strength is good, but your combat experience is far inferior to that of me. Didn't your teacher teach you not to look down upon any enemy you fight? Haha, Uchiha Kagami despises me, and you despise me too. The arrogance of the Uchiha clan has also been inherited by you, the red-haired brat. Now let me recover some price for Konoha, Nisuchi, die. Danzo took out the kunai in his arms. While speaking coldly, he stabbed Nagato in the heart. However, before he could stab it, Nagato shouted angrily, and chakra exploded from his body. The powerful chakra actually instantly erased the seal bound by the self-karma curse, and saw the astonishing chakra sweeping through, and the terrifying repulsive force surging out. Shinra Tenjung. Puff. Danzo's kunai shattered again. Blood spurted out from the entire mouth, and the body rolled out. He fell heavily onto the sea, his clothes were in tatters, and he knelt down on one knee with an expression of disbelief on his face. Impossible. How is it possible? You actually used your powerful chakra to offset the seal of my self-karma? Even if you can use the chakra to offset it, you shouldn't react so quickly. Nagato showed a disdainful smile. Although I look down on you, I have never looked down on you. Your self-inflicted curse seal teacher has told me a long time ago that this sealing technique is powerful enough. But the binding force is too weak for someone with enough chakra, and the wood-style move you Danzo just used consumed almost half of the chakra. How could you possibly restrain me? Besides, even if you have other means, it won't help. Otherwise, why do you think I keep hiding the Shinra Tenjung? Arrogance. Haha. What the three of us inherited is not the arrogance of the Uchiha clan, but caution. Let's get you on your way, Danzo. Nagato raised his hand and cast universal pull again. Danzo's broken body was pulled towards him. His injuries were so severe that he could hardly move freely throughout his body. Although Shinra Tensei's move is just a repulsive force, in fact, even if Elite Jonin Kakashi survives 2 hits, he will be seriously injured. Although Danzo is awesome, but his body was too weak, and that shot almost killed half of his life. When Shimura Danzo was dragged nearby, he was about to completely understand his life, and he let out a tragic roar on his face. You are not worthy of killing me, I am Shimura Danzo. Second Hokage's direct disciples, even if I die here today, I will eradicate you completely. For Konoha, for peace in the ninja world, Lee 4 Elephant Seal. Chapter 80 Danzo's Death. Challenge from Uchiha Madara. Advertisement in an instant. 4 black lines appeared on his body. A large amount of black blood sputtered out from the abdomen, spreading out in all directions. Uchiha Kagami, my once best friend, now my enemy. You have seen through all my trump cards, and now my life is at the hands of your disciples. I only serve Konoha wholeheartedly, why are you targeting me like this? And Hiruzen. It seems that I can't escape this time. It's a pity that I haven't become a Hokage in the end. If I had chosen to lay down my life for my teacher like you, would I also have a chance to become a Hokage? I have dreamed about it more than once. You are the leaves bathed in the sun, and I am the root in the darkness. You and I protect Konoha together, but why are reality and dreams completely different? Danzo's eyes were full of tragedy and his heart was full of sadness. More and more black blood kept pouring out, but the speed was very slow. It was unknown why Danzo was running out of gas. Or, originally this sealing technique was so slow. Get off here. Nagato is not panicked, as if he was already prepared. His right hand fell gently. The gravity of the universal pull will continue. Danzo continues to sink under the seawater, and the large black blood turns into a black ball barrier. The translucent black barrier seals a large amount of seawater. Then, the associated body completely disappeared. But because the seawater disappeared out of thin air, a huge Uzumaki appeared here, and the surrounding seawater was constantly replenished, which looked very spectacular. Yahiko and Konan stepped forward, and the former couldn't help but marvel. This is the 4 elephant sealing techniques that the teacher said. It's really powerful. It actually took away all the seawater here. Konan blinked his beautiful eyes. I always feel like you were belittling Danzo. Although this person is a bit sinister, a bit despicable, and a bit villain. But he is a dead person after all. Isn't it unethical for us to belittle Danzo like this? Sorry, I have no morals. Yahiko joked. Wait, where's the bounty? Konan's expression suddenly changed. Yahiko and Nagato were also shocked, with expressions of pain. Do these 4 elephant seals seal the body as well? The teacher didn't say that, wouldn't even the scum be left? It seems so. Konan stared at Nagato and said speechlessly. Does that mean my 100 million is gone? Nagato, I told you to pay attention to this move in advance, why didn't you kill him in advance? It's fine now, all the corpses are gone. I originally planned to use 100 million to build the village. Should I take the 100 million from the Akatsuki organization? Nagato lowered his head and pouted, and said aggrievedly, Hey, is this unreasonable? I didn't mean it. Danzo was also the teacher's former companion after all. Although his strength is a little weaker than mine. But I don't want to die if he wants to, there's a way. I don't care anyway, if my 100 million is gone, who will compensate me? Konan snorted. This, Yahiko and Nagato were helpless. Danzo, everyone is still alive, so you regard them as money in your pocket. So there are so many rebellious ninjas in this ninja world, and the total must exceed billions. Whether they're dead or alive, it is all your money? This is a bit unreasonable, however, for a woman who acts violently, do not reason with her. The two of them knew this well. They tried to reason again before, and most of their activity funds were deducted, after that experience. They understand that they can only find ways to make more money. As for whether the two have any grudges, that's definitely not the case. After all, the 3 of them have shared joys and sorrows for so many years, and this temper tantamount to coquettishness. And the teacher said, if a coquettish woman supports you from behind, you will be prosperous in no time. Advertisement therefore, the 2 of them are loyal to Konan and manage the money bag. They hope that Rain Shinobi Village will develop as soon as possible and become the 6th great ninja village in the ninja world. In order to confirm Danzo's body, Nagato also summoned crabs into the sea to salvage them, but they were not found. Nagato thought for a while and said, at worst, I'll ask the teacher for help. How many shadows can I catch? Let's make 1 billion first. What do you think? Okay, then my losses will be recovered. Konan smiled happily. Yahiko glanced around and couldn't help but feel weird. By the way, where's that white Zetsu just now? It's the white Zetsu with barbs on his crotch. Should we run away? After all, these white Zetsu are very weak, Nagato said. Oh, that's right. Yahiko was about to say something. A white humanoid creature emerged from the sea. The barbs on the crotch looked very funny, and white Zetsu let out a weird laugh as soon as he came out. I'm not leaving. After all, the things Madara-sama asked me to do haven't been completed yet. What is it? What does Madara want you to do? What is the purpose of your approach? Yahiko looked slightly condensed. Then let Madara-sama speak to you personally. Huh? Are you kidding me? The teacher told us that although Uchiha Madara is still alive, he is already very old. His lifespan is running out and it is not easy to go out. Yahiko was stunned for a moment. I thought I heard it wrong, so I couldn't help but have some doubts. However, White Zetsu smiled half-heartedly and did not say anything, he just took a few respectful steps back. Welcome Madara-sama, and not far away, a man came towards me. Wearing red laminated armor, with long black hair, his eyes are full of haki, and his face is not old. What? He's actually here. Uchiha Madara, Yahiko and Konan suddenly felt like they were facing a formidable enemy. Cold sweat breaks out behind my back, after all, this is a legendary figure. There was no way for them not to be nervous about a being who could rival the original ninja god, especially when their teacher said that the other person would not go out easily. But now that this deity has arrived, they suddenly feel bad. However, Nagato instinctively sensed something was wrong. While protecting the two people behind him, he looked up and down with his eyes and calmed down. The amount of chakra is very small, only at the level of Jonin. It's just a clone, right? You also use the transformation technique to cover up your old age. Haha. As the teacher said, your lifespan is running out. Nagato, you control these immortal eyes very well. You can even see through my clone. It seems that Uchiha Kagami is really interested in you. Uchiha Madara praised. What on earth are you going to say? Nagato demanded. Then let me get it straight, didn't you create the Akatsuki organization just to bring peace to the ninja world? These Rinnegan will make you the savior of this world. Uchiha Madara put forward his own opinion. But do you really think that you are the savior? With just these two Rinnegans, you can eliminate countless hatreds in the ninja world, prevent the ninja world from falling into war, and achieve complete peace. I never considered myself a savior, but now that I have the eyes of the immortal, I have to do something. Nagato clenched his fists and said firmly, teacher also taught me that peace requires strength. Although I am not strong enough now, I believe I will succeed sooner or later. I firmly believe this. Uchiha Madara looked sarcastic and said, really? But you don't know it all. Uchiha Kagami once told me, he only believes in his own power. He wants to take away your Rinnegan and become the savior of this world in your place. No way. I don't believe it. Nagato doesn't believe in evil. Haha. How innocent. Uchiha Madara continued to add information and provoked. Why did he come to you when there are so many war orphans in the world? Do you really think that Uchiha Kagami contacted you just to help you? Have you ever thought that this amiable teacher in your mind is actually using you? Wake up. Nagato, there is no love without reason in this world. Chapter 81. It seems that this orange-haired boy can't be kept. Advertisement. Nagato was lost in thought. Is there really no love for no reason in this world? Of course he didn't believe that the teacher was taking advantage of him, but what he said was indeed true, there were so many war orphans. Why, the teacher just chose me. Is it because of my immortal eyes? Have to say, Nagato is too young at this stage. And Uchiha Madara's personal presence is much more intimidating than Obito's disguise. Although Nagato will not doubt the teacher. But I fell into a tangled state mentally. However, just when Uchiha Madara wanted to continue to provoke, Yahiko stood up and looked into Nagato's eyes. Nagato, Uchiha Madara's words are not credible. If the teacher really wanted Rinnegan, he would have done it when you were young. Teacher is very kind to us. Even if he really wants Rinnegan, if teacher really wants to replace you and become the savior of this world, then why not give it to him? Just treat your elders as filial piety. But for so many years, the teacher has treated us without reservation. It is impossible for him to ask for anything from the juniors, even these immortal eyes. Nagato, don't be stupid. Even when the teacher said the words of asking for Rinnegan, in my opinion, it was just to confuse Uchiha Madara and protect you in disguise. After all, the person in front of you has ulterior motives for you. Teacher has such good intentions, how can you hesitate? Yes, Yahiko, you are right. Nagato cheered up again and said with firm eyes. Teacher has been very kind to me, taught me almost all advanced ninjutsu, and helped me awaken the power of Rinnegan. How can I doubt the teacher so much? These immortal eyes bring me not only responsibility, but also pain and suffering. If the teacher really wants it, then I, Nagato, don't mind if he takes it away. Uchiha Madara, don't try to provoke us master and disciple. Uchiha Madara's face darkened. He fixed his gaze on Yahiko, and his heart became colder and colder. It seems that the key point is this orange-haired boy. Nagato is simple-minded and easy to fool, but Yahiko has his own opinions. And Nagato also completely followed Yahiko's advice. If Yahiko hadn't caused trouble just now, he could have planted the seeds of doubt, and it wouldn't take long for Nagato to surrender. Now, it's all destroyed by Yahiko. He desperately wants to eradicate Yahiko and darken Nagato just like Obito. But now his lifespan is very short, and his clone is no longer as powerful as it was 10 years ago, so there is no way to do it himself. It took a lot of effort to get Danzo to come, but it turned out that this guy was also a fool. It was enough to just start a fight with Nagato, but he actually ended up committing suicide and sealing an ocean. It was so stupid that he was hopelessly stupid. This is embarrassing. He has no reliable people at all. Uchiha Madara thought for a moment, changed her strategy, and said leisurely, whether it is you or Uchiha Kagami, if you want to maintain peace on your own, it will inevitably lead to war. and to protect love, you will breed hatred. It goes on and on like this, love and hate alternate. The ninja world can never be peaceful, and the world's cause and effect cannot be cut off. Nagato. You are too naive. Neither the Akatsuki organization nor the major ninja villages can change it. Then how do you think it will change? Before Nagato could post, Yahiko said with a smile. Could it be to create a false world? To use some kind of illusion to cover the whole world? Let everyone be immersed in the illusion to achieve peace? Is this the great Uchiha Madara's salvation plan? Or is it Project Tsuki no Mi? Yes, it seems that Uchiha Kagami has already explained it to you. Do you think you agree with it? Advertisement Uchiha Madara looks calm on the surface. But I cursed in my heart, damn Uchiha Kagami. You promised to keep it secret at first, but then you turned around and told others. You are a guy who doesn't keep your word. No, not at all. Yahiko shook his head and sneered. What's the use of a false world? The teacher told us that such a world, even if it is beautiful, is destined to not last long. Because the ninja world not only has internal troubles, but also external troubles. When the whole world falls into the world of illusions, who will resist the threats from the outside? How ridiculous. The majestic Uchiha Madara, your mind and structure are so narrow, no wonder the teacher has always looked down on you. Foreign aggression? What's the meaning? Uchiha Madara was a little confused. I don't know what the other person is talking about. When Infinite Tsukuyomi is activated, the world will be completely peaceful. Where will the external trouble come from? Haha, no comment. Yahiko showed a mysterious smile. But in fact, the three of them only had a rough idea of the guilty group. When they were young, they lived with their teacher and occasionally mentioned it, but they actually had no way of knowing what kind of foreign trouble it was. But then I got some inside information from Minato. Although the content is not too scrawled, it at least proves that the teacher has a long-term vision, which is far beyond what Uchiha Madara can match. Certainly, on the one hand it is also Uchiha Madara herself who was blinded by Black Zetsu. If Black Zetsu, a dutiful son, hadn't stabbed him in the back, Uchiha Madara, a generational tycoon, wouldn't have been hastily dismissed. Yahiko looked at Uchiha Madara and said calmly, you are now a well-known figure, so stop engaging in these conspiracies. As long as I am here, I will not let you get close to Nagato. Really? Boy, then you have to keep an eye on him. Uchiha Madara smiled outwardly, but the murderous intention in his heart became stronger and stronger. It seems that this orange-haired boy cannot be kept. As long as Yahiko is alive, Nagato can't turn black. If he can't turn black, he can't surrender. If he can't surrender, then his resurrection will be far away. But now is not the time. You have to find a perfect opportunity and some helpers. And Uchiha Kagami must be distracted. This time he must succeed, no one can stop him. And Nagato and the others knew that each other was a clone. There was no obstruction and the other party was allowed to leave, and the three of them returned to the Rain Shinobi village tower. They were all sitting on the tip of the tower, looking down at the torrential rain in Rain Shinobi village, and they all felt exhausted. Don't look at how calm they were just now, but after all, that person is Uchiha Madara, so it is impossible to say that she is not a coward. If Nagato hadn't realized that the other person was a clone, the three of them might have run away as soon as they met. There would have been no confrontation at all. Nagato. I still have to rely on you. Yahiko felt a little frustrated. My strength is too weak. If I hadn't just discovered that he was not his true form, otherwise I wouldn't have had the courage to dare to confront such a legendary figure for so long. Chapter 83 Naked Fraud, Disaster from the Five Shadows. Advertisement Nagato patted his shoulder, smiled and consoled him. Okay, everyone has a clear division of labor. Uchiha Madara's words are so sharp. I am stupid and can't understand. If it weren't for you, I might not be able to turn around. Okay, where is the teacher? Have you replied to us? Conan asked suddenly. I don't know, it seems like I haven't. I am coming. Before Yahiko could finish speaking, there was a flash of red light in the air, and Uchiha Kagami appeared. The three people immediately stood up and said with extremely excited expressions, Teacher. Just now. Uchiha Madara is here, we. Okay, thank you for your hard work, I know everything. Uchiha Kagami rubbed Yahiko's hair and said with satisfaction. Yahiko did a good job and was able to keep up with Uchiha Madara's verbal confrontation. It seems that making you the leader of Rain Shinobi village is indeed the most suitable choice. Hey, I was just talking casually. Yahiko blushed. Nagato seemed to blame himself, lowered his head and said, I'm sorry, teacher, I shouldn't have doubted you so much. Uchiha Madara was clearly the instigator, but I couldn't tell the difference. No, I did say that I want to take your Rinnegan, Uchiha Kagami said frankly. Ah, then teacher, I will pay you my respects. Look at you, of course you said this to trick Uchiha Madara. Do you know why I did this? I don't understand. Nagato scratched his head in confusion. Yahiko smiled and expressed his guess. Uchiha Madara wants to use Infinite Tsukuyomi to bring peace to the world. He must need your Rinnegan, so the teacher said this. To protect you, right? Oh, okay, Yahiko, have you guessed this? Uchiha Kagami was surprised. Because although he told part of the inside story, but as one of the conditions for the use of Infinite Tsukuyomi, Rinnegan did not reveal it at all. Unexpectedly, Yahiko guessed it himself. It is enough to show that Yahiko's brain is very good. And as long as he is not so idealistic at first, he can become a qualified leader. Haha, teacher, am I awesome? Yahiko said proudly. Awesome, But that's not the point of what I'm going to say. What I'm going to say next, please remember to keep it secret. Especially Nagato, you have to be mentally prepared, Mirror said. Okay, teacher. The three of them looked solemn. First of all, I said that because this pair of Rinnegan is Uchiha Madara's, and Nagato was transplanted the day after tomorrow. Uchiha Kagami said slowly. He approached you in order to make Nagato surrender to him, and resurrect himself with the Rinne Tensai technique. You are all young and immature in mind, and can be easily deceived. Especially Nagato has a simple mind. I just said that to make him confused. On the other hand, I also considered that he might use this to provoke us, but him coming in person, I didn't expect it. But it's enough to show that he has run out of tricks. Huh? The Rinnegan belongs to Madara? Nagato was a little confused. He thought he was the savior. In the end, this savior was donated by others. How could he accept this? Uchiha Kagami looked solemn and said, Nagato, don't think too much. These eyes are on you, no matter who the original owner is, then you are a well-deserved savior. I understand, sensei. Nagato nodded. Then teacher, what is Uchiha Madara going to do next? Yahiko asked. It's very simple. Nagato is an important part of his resurrection plan, so it is indispensable. But as long as you are here, Nagato will not be able to go dark, so he will definitely attack you. Advertisement Uchiha Kagami said firmly. As long as you die, in some accident, Nagato is destined to hate the world, so we have to guard against it. Danzo was killed by Nagato. Uchiha Madara has no other people. With you here, we don't have to be afraid of him at all, Yahiko vowed. No, Uchiha Madara will definitely try every means to hinder me so that I can't come to help you, in order to prevent this from happening. Uchiha Kagami looked calm and said, Yahiko, you need to fake your death once. The plan is like this. Such and such. Such and such. And then you can reap the benefits. No matter how smart Uchiha Madara is, she will never think of our plan. Awesome. Teacher, this plan is perfect, Yahiko praised. And Nagato, you have something to do too. Teacher, please give me your instructions. I need to wait until Yahiko dies, and you become Uchiha Madara's chess piece. Remember to make him believe that you will resurrect him with Rinne Tensai technique. Ah, why? Why do you do this? Nagato said he didn't understand. Obviously, you are a spy. Nagato, you are so stupid. Oh, I'll try my best. It's not as good as your best. Let's improve our acting skills, Jing said worriedly. Yeah, I will, sensei. Nagato nodded. Conan raised his little hand and said cautiously, then teacher. Are we really going to resurrect Uchiha Madara? Yes, I really want to be resurrected. Don't talk about Nagato this time. Even Yahiko was confused and didn't understand what a show this was. Although the teacher is powerful, the resurrected Uchiha Madara is not bad either. Is she so confident that she can control the opponent? Don't worry, Nagato will be fine, and Uchiha Madara will be resurrected, but from now on, he will become a pawn in my hands. He controlled so many chess pieces. He almost caused my descendants to fall into darkness. It's time for me to have a taste of what it's like to be a chess piece. Uchiha Kagami showed a confident smile. Resurrecting Uchiha Madara is definitely a must. It is an important part of Project Tsuki no Mi. But the role was just reversed, making him mistakenly think that everything was under control, but he didn't realize that he was the only one on the board. The four masters and apprentices plotted for a long time. After almost finishing the details, they all smiled evilly. That night, to celebrate the smooth progress of the plan, he and Nagato had a dinner. It's fun and has a family atmosphere. The next day, Uchiha Kagami returns to Konoha. As soon as he returned to Konoha, Minato came to the door, looking slightly panicked. No, teacher. Something big happened. No rush, Minato, speak slowly, Jing said slowly. Inside information suddenly spread in the ninja world. Someone exposed that you, Yahiko, and Nagato have a master-disciple relationship. As the ace mercenary organization of Rain Shinobi Village, the Akatsuki organization defrauded major ninja villages of more than 10 billion through war. 2 hiring fees. Namikaze Minato swallowed his saliva and said in a difficult tone, the senior leaders of the major ninja villages believe that this is a naked fraud. 3rd Tsuchikage Onoki, 3rd generation 4th Raikage, 3rd Case-Cage, 4th Case-Cage Red Sand Scorpion unite and demand immediately return all employment fees. Otherwise, Konoha will usher in a catastrophe from the 5 shadows. Chapter 84 5 Shadows Gather. Don't blame us for bullying the few. Advertisement, haha, it seems to be Madara's handiwork. Uchiha Kagami seemed to have expected it. Unexpectedly, he couldn't sit still the next day. It was obvious that Uchiha Madara's time was running out. He wanted to use the 5 shadows to get rid of me, and took the opportunity to kill Yahiko and make Nagato black? Then what should we do? The 5 shadows have begun to gather and are expected to arrive at the border of the Land of Fire tonight and put pressure on Konoha United. Teacher, how about we return the money to them, or half of it? Namikaze Minato is very worried. After all, it is the 5 shadows, and this is the first time in history that such a lineup has been formed. Even after seeing the teacher easily suppress 9 tails, the title of Cage is not something that can be ignored casually, let alone 5 cages united. To be honest, he was very worried about the teacher's safety. Uchiha Kagami patted him on the shoulder and smiled. Why should we give back the money we earn based on our skills? Minato, do you know why I have been hiding my strength all these years? Why in the entire ninja world? Except for a few people, only Madara knows that Yahiko and the others are my disciples. This. Didn't Madara overhear it? No, I did it on purpose. Ah, teacher, is this the day you have been waiting for? Namikaze Minato's pupils tightened. He thought of a terrible guess. The teacher has been hiding his strength for so many years. Is it possible that the enemies will unite and defeat them all? If you guess like this, didn't the teacher start planning it 10 years ago? You were so sure 10 years ago that your strength will crush the 5 shadows 10 years from now? Yes, this is the day I've been waiting for. Uchiha Kagami's eyes were filled with disbelief. I'm waiting for them to become angry and unite to put pressure on Konoha and defeat the 5 shadows. This will raise Konoha's prestige to another level, and it is not impossible to unify the ninja world in the future. This is of course one reason. On the other hand, he has done too many great things. Capturing a cage alive or even defeating any cage will not cause much public opinion in the ninja world. After all, everyone is used to it. Therefore, he needs to create more amazing things to let public opinion refresh more favorability, thereby improving his own strength. And fighting against the 5 shadows is the most critical part. Of course, this time the 5 Kage are not the Kage of the 5 great ninja villages, but the 5 Kage of the 3 great ninja villages of Earth, Wind and Cloud, but it is enough to make him famous. Even, can become a new legend in the ninja world. Looking at the ambitious teacher, Namikaze Minato couldn't help but exclaimed. As expected of the teacher, I thought of this from the beginning. As a student, I should fully support you, and I will also help you. But, Sensei, I'm curious as Madara controls Kirigakure's 3rd Mizukage. Why not just let the 3rd Mizukage deal with you as well? Don't treat the shadows as idiots. The 3rd Mizukage has been controlled for so many years, and Uchiha Madara is becoming more and more powerless as his lifespan is approaching. Once the 5 shadows notice that Mizukage is under a genjutsu, they may not be able to deal with me with all their strength. Uchiha Kagami asked with great interest. Madara will not let the plan go beyond his control, but after all, we have a lot of elites in Konoha, and the battle situation has reached a point where the winner or loser is about to be decided. I think it's not just Kirigakure. Other ninja villages also sent many elites, right? Namikaze Minato nodded. You guessed it right. Kirigakure sent out the 7 ninja swordsmen. Sanagakure sent out Scorch-style Hyakura. Cloud Shinobi village sent out 8 tails Jinchuriki and Dodai. Iwagakure sent out explosion-style Jonin-ki, and the son of 3rd Tsuchikage Lois. Advertisement. It seems that they are also planning to burn the boat. The victory or defeat depends on this time. In this case, let Konoha Sannin deal with Cloud Shinobi village, and Tsukumo and his son deal with Sanagakure. Akamichi Tofu, Yuhi Maki, Amino Akaku and others deal with Iwagakure, and the remaining 7 ninja swordsmen of Kirigakure are left to you, Minato. Note. Yuhi Kurenai's father, Amino Akaku, Amino Koni, and Iruka's parents are all veteran Jonin. The original novel died in the Nine Tails Rebellion. Okay, teacher. Namikaze Minato nodded without hesitation. Now that he has 9 tails Jinchuriki, he is not worried about chakra consumption problem at all. As for the 2 Jonin in Iwagakure, although they are famous, Akamichi Kaifeng is also an experienced Jonin. He was a 2nd Hokage guard together with Kagami. After experiencing the battle between Golden Horn and Silver Horn, he has become famous. The number of Jonin in Konoha is actually very large, and it is completely possible to win with numbers. Today's middle and lower level ninjas in Konoha may not be able to compare with the 5 major ninja villages combined. Just talking about the number of Jonin, that's really not necessarily comparable to Konoha. Namikaze Minato thought for a while and asked, where is Obito? Are you not going to let him go to the battlefield? Are you going to send the 3rd Hokage-sama as well? Isn't it too hasty? No need for the moment. The spell on Obito's heart has not been removed yet. We have to prevent Madara from causing trouble. Minato, if you deal with the 7 ninja swordsmen in advance, use Flying Thunder God to run around other battlefields. End the war as soon as possible. Uchiha Kagami coughed a few times and said, your contribution is great enough. Ahem, Orochimaru has lost his hair now. He is eager to go to the battlefield. Your proposal to take office as 4th Hokage has been submitted to the daimyo. If nothing else, when the war is over, you will be able to take over Orochimaru's position. Yes, teacher, thank you for your cultivation, Minato said excitedly. You're welcome, you deserve this. I'll leave first. Don't keep the 5 shadows waiting too long. Uchiha Kagami patted his shoulder. He formed a seal with one hand and disappeared from the place with a swish sound. Not long after, he arrived at the border of the country of fire. This is the Kingdom of Grass in the northwest, and it is also the junction of the 3 major countries. It can also be regarded as one of the war buffer zones for the 3rd Ninja War, but unlike Rain Shinobi Village, which was once supported by Hanzo, there are almost no famous ninjas in the Land of Grass, and there are no particularly powerful ninjas. Most famous, well, it seems to be Hungry Kido from Pain's 6 Paths. The ninja that Jiraiya killed when he escaped from the ninja world was later made by Nagato as one of Pain, but there is no origin of the name. But this is all a digression. When Uchiha Kagami comes to the battlefield, standing on a high cliff, with a flame fan on his back, he looked down at the many ninjas below. It includes the 3 major ninja villages of Cloud Shinobi Village, Sanagakure, and Iwagakure. The number is close to tens of thousands. The leaders were none other than the 5 Kages, starting with the 2 burly Raikages. The 3rd Raikage has a slender beard, the 4th Raikage seems to be getting stronger, the 3rd Kazekage has a cold face, and the 4th Kazekage is a scorpion lying on the ground. And Tsuchikage Onoki, at this time, floating above them, the old face was filled with anger. You be asterisk 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 the Uchiha Kagami. Do you still dare to come? How dare you join forces with the Akatsuki organization in Rain Shinobi village to defraud us? Return the money to us quickly. Otherwise, don't blame us, the 5 cages, for bullying the few with more. Chapter 85. It's great that you dare to challenge me, but that's all. Advertisement. Uchiha Kagami crossed his arms and said unceremoniously, why should I give you back the money I earned based on my skills? And this is a war period. I just captured you alive and didn't take your lives. What's wrong with charging a small fee? I'm already kind enough, but I want to bully the few. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Haha, they're just a mob. What's the use of even being a shadow? Except for Uchiha Madara and my eldest brother Senju Hashirama, I don't take them seriously. Onoki was furious. Listen, how arrogant this kid is. Why don't you look down on him except Hashirama and Madara? I'm so angry. Third Raikage and fourth Raikage couldn't help it. They were already grumpy, and coupled with being deceived before, it was like a naked humiliation. How can they bear this? But before they could take action, Onoki shook his head and said cautiously, although Uchiha Kagami is arrogant, he never does anything that he is not sure of. I suggest that the ninjas be consumed first to see what is true and what is true. Okay, let's do it. Others had no objections. The ninjas immediately swarmed forward and rushed over overwhelmingly. Uchiha Kagami jumped up and looked at the thousands of enemies. His eyes were not timid at all, but became more and more sarcastic. As expected of you, Onoki. To use so many ninjas to consume me, only an old guy like you can do it, but for me now. The number of people is meaningless to me. Uchiha Kagami rushed in alone. He kicked an enemy away and knocked the 2 of them together with his hands. His body was as strong as dancing in the crowd, and large bodies of corpses were constantly being repelled. The flame fan in his hand easily knocked away the enemies. Call out. A kunai sneak attack came. He also carried a detonating charm, but Uchiha Kagami didn't even look at it. He raised his hand to take off the detonating talisman and stuck it on another ninja, kicked him out without mercy, and threw the kunai backhand. There are people hiding underground, trying to catch themselves. But he raised his feet and jumped, hitting the ground with a fan, and the man let out a shrill scream. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a cold weapon. Everyone was frightened, and they looked too scared to step forward to attack. So strong. Is this Uchiha Kagami? Konoha's red fangs are indeed well deserved. We can't touch them at all. Damn it. This is just a waste of life. I don't want to fight. Uchiha Kagami ignored them and looked at Onoki and the others. These people are nothing but chickens and weak dogs. Only you can dance in front of me. Why don't you plan to take action? As a movie star. You don't even have the courage to do so. It's really ridiculous. Stop looking down on people. I want to avenge my grandma. Fei Luhu tail thorn on the back. Prosthetic hand Senbon. Scorpion controls Fei Luhu. The steel scorpion tail from behind pierced him, but it was easily avoided by Uchiha Kagami, and what followed was densely packed Senbon, each of which was extremely poisonous. Little trick. Gale palm. Uchiha Kagami looked contemptuous. Advertisement. He raised his right hand and set off a strong wind. All these 1,000 needles were rolled back, and at this moment the third Cage also joined the battle, manipulating a large amount of sand iron and trying to attack. But Uchiha Kagami is too fast. With the flying thunder god, he couldn't catch up and couldn't catch the flaw. Third Cage's face darkened. Uchiha Kagami's speed is too fast, even without Mangekyō Sharingan. At my speed, I simply can't keep up with him. Unless someone fights him closely and delays him, I can do it. Let his father and son come. It's time to wash away the humiliation in the name of Raikage. The third Raikage and the fourth Raikage stood up. The father and son looked at each other and activated the lightning-style chakra mode to its strongest level. Zitsa. Zitsa. The 2 men were covered in lightning. Each hair stands upside down, like a hedgehog. With a swish sound, the 2 quickly approached each other, and the father and son used their own unique skills at the same time. Lateral bolt of pain. Hell thrust 4 pen hands. The 2 have practiced over the years. The speed has far exceeded the level of that year. And Uchiha Kagami does not have Sharingan, and is no longer in its heyday, so even with Flying Thunder God, it is difficult to deal with the attack of the 2. Even if I can barely avoid it, there is no Sharingan. He would not be able to use Susanoo. With their physical bodies, the father and son were completely fearless of other ninjutsu, as long as there was a chance to catch his flaw. But, the next second, their smiles stiffened. Uchiha Kagami didn't use Flying Thunder God to dodge at all, and emitted amazing chakra from all over her body. Boom! The eyes suddenly turned into barbed windmills, with a triangle and rhombus rotating in the middle of the windmill. Layers of bones continued to condense, and Susanoo appeared again, making fists with both hands and punching Raikage and his son away. Is this Susanoo? Mangekyō Sharingan? Impossible. You're not blind? No. Why? I used it so many times. How come it didn't affect my vision? How is that possible? Could it be that you have always been pretending? Onoki, Raikage, and Cage were all shocked. They thought that even if the news was false, the other party would only be able to use ordinary Sharingan at most, but who knows? Not only is this guy not blind, can Susanoo also be used? Damn it. What a dog. As an Uchiha, shouldn't we show off like crazy everywhere? Why can you resist hiding Mangekyō Sharingan? Uchiha Kagami maintained Susanoo and said calmly. Of course I'm pretending, my Mangekyō has never been blind. And now, I have already surpassed what I was 10 years ago, and no one has seen my true strength. Although Onoki was shocked, he was not afraid. Uchiha Kagami, what is your purpose? Hiding your strength. Just to fight us. Our 5 shadows haven't done anything yet, you will plunge Konoha into a place of eternal destruction. No, you are overthinking. Konoha will not suffer any losses, and after all, you are ninjas who bear the name of Shadow. This is the first time such a lineup has been formed. Let you see, my heyday. Uchiha Kagami said proudly, I will let you understand a truth. It's great that you have the courage to challenge me, but that's all I can praise you for. Advertisement. P.S. The plot is about to reach a critical point. Correct any typos and correct them as soon as you see them. The rating will increase in the future, so don't panic. Advertisement. P.S. Li Sishang's seal will not destroy the corpse. The reason why Obito didn't take away Shisui's eyes was because Danzo also destroyed Shisui's eyes before he died. Original plot. It's not that the author made a mistake. The reason why Nagato couldn't find the body was, well, a foreshadowing.